The 2023 high school football season continues tonight for teams around the state of Ohio. We have 11 games scheduled, and our focus will be on Lorain County. Conference rivalries and homecomings highlight this week around the area. Here are our top stories heading into Week 6. Can Avon remain perfect on the road against Olmsted Falls? And it's homecoming in Elyria. Will the Pioneers pull off victory number 1 on the year? Finally, the Titans are off to a hot start as Lake Erie play kicks off tonight against Garfield Heights. Plus, we are tracking history as Marco Sirigliano is looking to shatter 3 all-time leading records in Lorain County for the most rushing yards, points scored, and touchdowns scored in a career. And as always, the Lorain County 8 League, the Great Lakes Conference, the Lake Erie League, and finally, the Sandusky Bay Conference. 2 teams remain undefeated as Avon and Columbia look to remain perfect on the year. And 2 teams face must-win situations with Elyria and Oberlin on the bottom looking up. Playoff points are up for grabs as area teams fight for their chance to make the postseason. 13 of the 17 teams in Lorain County are positioning themselves for a playoff run. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Buckeye Community Bank, Slimans and Amherst, the Nord Center, Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, Zabo Apparel Company, Valley Chevrolet in Wellington, Alan Januzzi CPA, Lorain County Community College, Brian Victor of Howard Hanna, Lorain County Clerk of Courts Tom Orlando, Justin Miller Esquire, Lorain County Prosecutor J.D. Tomlinson, Ernie's Auto Body, Lorain County Recorder Mike Duran, Giovanna Bremke, Achieve Credit Union, Kevin Brubaker, Erie's Market, Mental Health and Recovery Services of Lorain County, Honeydude's Handyman Services, Lorain County Commissioner David Moore, Barber and Black in Sheffield Lake, Lorain County Visitors Bureau, I-90 Nissan in Sheffield Village, Jones Bones Barbecue and Grub, Ross Environmental Services, Music's Auto Care, Lang Optical, and Janasco Insurance. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dave Rivera, and welcome to the local portion of the pregame show, brought to you by Slimans and Amherst, where customers send their friends. Here is the schedule for Week 6 in Lorain County. In the Southwestern Conference, Amherst is at Avon Lake. Avon is at Olmsted Falls. Midview is at Berea Mid Park. Our Lorain County Sports Network Game of the Week that you can watch live and free on YouTube. North Ridgeville is at Elyria. In the Lorain County 8 League, Keystone is at Black River. Firelands is at Brookside. Wellington is at Clearview in our WOBL Game of the Week. Oberlin is at Columbia. In the Great Lakes Conference, Elyria Catholic is at Bay Village in our WDLW Game of the Week. In the Lake Erie League, Garfield Heights is at Lorain. In the Sandusky Bay Conference, Bay vs. Lake crossover game features Vermilion at Norwalk. On WOBL, it's a Lorain County 8 showdown between the Wellington Dukes and the Clearview Clippers. Live from Tom Hoke Field, Gary Tollett and Brian DeVito will have the call. Then, on WDLW radio, it's a Great Lakes Conference rivalry game between the Elyria Catholic Panthers and the Bay Rockets, live from Bay Memorial Stadium. Don Vincent and Rick Soto will bring you the action. And new this year, you can watch a different team each week live on our free video stream on YouTube at Lorain County Sports Network. Tonight, it's the North Ridgeville Rangers traveling to Elyria to take on the Pioneers on homecoming night. Join John Guzik and Mike Harush live on YouTube. Don't forget, tune in after the final whistle of your game for the post-game scoreboard show Presented by Achieve Credit Union. Streaming live on Facebook at WOBL WDLW Sports. Kickoff is just around the corner after this timeout. Enjoy the game. I'll see you at halftime on the Lorain County Sports Network, WOBL and WDLW.
We're in Elyria this week. We've got another great Southwestern Conference showdown, and we have a few minutes to talk to North Ridgeville Ranger head coach Brian Morgan. Coach, I mean, these last couple of weeks, the start of the Southwestern Conference season, your team has definitely sent a message to the rest of the league.
Yeah, it's still early in the year with some big games coming. We can't look ahead, but tonight we have a really good team against Elyria. They got some guys that scare us, but it was a great start for us. Ran into a very tough Avon team last week, but we'll take 4-1 right now and work real hard to keep working to get better.
But talk a little bit first about last week's game, because we know about what happened 2 weeks ago, and then you came out last week, and the game was a heck of a lot closer than the final score would indicate.
Yeah, the first half we played pretty well, played a pretty clean game like we said we wanted to do. We had a couple mishaps on offense and special teams that kind of put us in a bad position going into the second half. So, we cleaned those things up, and it would have been a little bit different score. But, that's a really good Avon team. I expected we'll see them in a state semifinal.
So now you're coming out of a game that was definitely very draining emotionally and physically, and a team you were going against undefeated, and now your kids are looking at a team that hasn't won a game this year. So how do you keep them balanced? How do you keep them refocused on tonight, knowing what they've been through the last couple of weeks?
We've been talking a lot about what winners do this year because, in the past we saw a lot of loser behavior that when we were here, and we're trying to change some of those things. So one of it is after a tough loss like we have, we don't wallow in our own pity. We take a look at an opportunity to come out and get better and take some of those frustrations out on the next team. So winners are going to stay positive, winners are going to work hard, and winners are going to come out and play their best game on Friday regardless of who it is. So we're looking to try to do that tonight.
And who are some of the leaders on your team that you're looking to help instill that philosophy on the field tonight?
Our defense, Carson Matus has been a guy that's been consistent for us for the last 2 years, and Carson really took a lot of offense to the loss and really is demanding more of his guys in practice this week. So I'm expecting to see a big game from him. Offensively, with the injury to Cole Miller last week, we get to see a face that we haven't seen starting for us, and that's Brendan Watchhorn, who started 11 games for us at quarterback last year. So he's calm, he's collected, and it's really nice to have a backup quarterback that started 11 games.
Right. So for our listeners who don't know, Cole Miller, the starting quarterback for North Ridgeville to start the season, goes out with an injury. But talk about the different adjustments you have to make going from one quarterback to the other, or is it play on as usual?
Well, yeah, I think Brendan has the ability to go in and we can use most of our playbook. The only limitation is, we don't really have much of a backup quarterback with experience like we did when he was the backup. So got to be a little bit more careful about having him and putting him in positions where he could get hit or get hurt because of that. So, but other than that, play-wise, we're open. We're ready to do whatever we have to do to win a game.
And now you talk about tonight, going against Elyria, a Pioneer team that's certainly hungry for their first win of the year and looking to maybe catch you on a downturn. But you mentioned there's a couple of guys that kind of scare you. So what is the specific preparation to take on the Pioneers?
They're really big up front. Their line is huge. And then they've got a group of running backs that are really big and tough to tackle. So, the emphasis all week has been, trying to make sure that we stop the counter and that we can get guys down at the line of scrimmage and make sure that we don't give up the big play.
Well, Coach, congratulations on what you've built up since you became the head coach here at North Ridgeville. It's literally grown every single year. And you talk about that Avon team potentially being deep in the playoffs. This is a Ranger team that's got a lot of upside going, and we're excited to see you guys kick off against the Pioneers in just a little bit here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Stay tuned.
The band is under the direction of Aaron C. Quicka, Adam Barron, Pat Kaselnik, and Catherine Green.
It's week 6 of the inaugural season of the Lorain County Sports Network, and we are live from Mercy Health Field at Ely Stadium in Elyria, Ohio, as the Elyria Pioneer Band has taken to the field. Homecoming week, not only here, but at many sites around the area, including where our sister station is tonight. WDLW is where the Bay Rockets homecoming game is going on as they get ready to take on Elyria Catholic here. The North Ridgeville Rangers will be the opponent for the Pioneers tonight. And we're going to talk a lot about what's to come in tonight's game and talk a little bit more about what the coaches had to say before the game. You heard from North Ridgeville coach Brian Morgan as part of the Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner. And we continue on here with the Slimans and Amherst pregame show. I'm John Guzik along with Mike Rush. And what another beautiful night for football. And sometimes you get a couple running teams like we're going to have tonight who might not mind sloshing it out a little bit. But I'm telling you, for the band, the parents, for us, certainly 6 nice Friday nights in a row, and excited to be here in Elyria tonight. Mike, welcome in back to another fun week of football.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Week 6, hard to believe. And as you said, that weather has been great. And we'll continue to sign up for some great weather, hopefully here, as the first day of fall officially is tomorrow. So
and I have a reference to that later in the game, but we'll get to what's happening tonight first. I mentioned how talking to the coaches before the game, and Brian Morgan detailed one of the very big aspects of tonight's game is that they're without their regular starting quarterback Cole Miller, but all they do is put in last year's full-time starting quarterback. So that's a pretty good juxtaposition for North Ridgeville to kind of continue on the success they've had so far. But in talking to Coach Brian Fox, they're going to have some changes on their sides of the ball as well. A couple of them, disciplinary reasons. So when you hear or don't hear some of the names that you might expect tonight, that could be the reason. And then we just found out that Braylon Rise is not going to be available tonight because of an injury he suffered apparently late in the week, or maybe even something that came up today. But as I mentioned, homecoming week, bands are out there already. We've already had the court announced tonight. But thoughts, others, from your conversation with Coach Fox about what to expect for tonight?
Yeah, for Coach Fox, he's trying to implement his culture, his program here in year one. And talking to him down on the field, he even referred to it almost as year zero. Really just trying to again, implement his system, his style. We'll be without some players, so it makes it difficult, but, he's not going to, sacrifice that. He's got a good game plan here tonight, coming over from Elyria Catholic, and they're going to try to match North Ridgeville's physicality here tonight.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that when you look at this team is they're coming in 0-5. They've had some disciplinary issues for the last couple of weeks that we've referenced, and they're addressing that, and that hopefully is a good thing for the future of the program. But this is a team that is kind of, you go one way or the other, because 0-5 and some players start to kind of mail it in. But I think, one, the fact that they are addressing some of these issues, two, that it is Coach Fox's first time through this program, and three, the fact that the playoffs still remain a very viable opportunity for the Elyria Pioneers. They look more like that team, if you're the North Ridgeville Rangers, one of the teams you don't really want to face, because at some point they're going to put it together, and it's going to be kind of scary for the other team, because they definitely have, as Coach Morgan mentioned, the size up front for the Pioneers, and they've got playmakers that run all over the field. So we expect to see a very entertaining game tonight. Don't be fooled by the records. And the other issue that comes up tonight is the last 2 weeks, North Ridgeville has some very emotional games. I mean, that game against Olmsted Falls 2 weeks ago was just a nail biter to the bitter end, and that takes a lot out of you. And then if you're in the Southwestern Conference, whenever you go up against Avon, that's kind of your Super Bowl kind of week, is you're giving everything you've got. And obviously they came up on the short end of that one. So if Elyria was ever going to have a chance to put it together and find a little vulnerability in the Rangers, but man, what a nice program the Rangers have put together. As I mentioned in the conversation with Coach Morgan, just seem to be kind of getting better 1 year after another, and building this program.
Yeah, absolutely. It starts in the off season too, in the weight room, with what Coach Morgan has brought in, coming over from the basketball side.
We mention this every time we have a Southwestern Conference game out here, but one of the great things about the Southwestern Conference is their tradition of bringing the bands together before the game to perform the national anthem. And so we definitely going to break whenever we get that. We've had the Elyria High's pregame show with their alma mater, and now the North Ridgeville band is taking their spot on the field. So whenever it is time, we will go to the national anthem, which is brought to you each and every week on our broadcast by Lorain County Prosecutor J.D. Tomlinson. I remind you to stay safe, Lorain County, and appreciate all of our sponsors who make all this possible for us year in and year out. And we're going to talk about the keys of the game. We will talk about the coin toss, because we'll let you know that this game's going to start with the Elyria Pioneers having the football. And as you get into this game, again, I think especially it used to be a no-brainer, right? Start the game with the ball and try to score. But a lot of teams, their strategy is, if they're relying on the defense, they're willing to get the ball to start the second half. So the Pioneers will have the ball to start the game. We'll have the lineups, of course, coming up for you in just a little bit. But right now, we are going to pause for the playing of our national anthem.
And join us in the playing and singing of our Star-Spangled Banner, directed by North Ridgeville High School Director of Bands, Mrs. Haley Bryson.
Fantastic performance by the bands, and of course a great tradition of sportsmanship and camaraderie in the Southwestern Conference to have both of them out here. You are on the Lorain County Sports Network here on YouTube, and we are ready to bring you Elyria taking on North Ridgeville as we get into the second half of our inaugural season here. Appreciate all of our sponsors. This is the Slimans and Amherst pregame show. Slimans and Amherst, where customers send their friends. And you know, you look around football anymore, and I see all the different sponsorships of the field and the certain segments of the stadium since Elyria school system rebuilt this whole complex a few years ago. But obviously, we're excited to have the people that bring us, and one of those is Lang Optical. And this is the Lang Optical broadcast booth, where we invite you to see the difference. And before we get to the starting lineups, we'll talk a little bit about, I mentioned the playoffs being a scenario. And the way it works, if you haven't followed this or didn't realize that the official computer rankings are out, that the way it stands going into the second half of the year, North Ridgeville right in the thick of things, and they're number 3 in their region, Division II, Region 6. But in Division 1, there's 16 teams in each region that will go to the playoffs because there's so fewer teams in Division 1, and Elyria is one of those. So technically, coming into this game tied for 14th, and someone's got to break that tie at some point, one way or another. And we saw that a couple years ago where Lorain High got in with a 1-win season. Now Elyria, you know, again, that's all you care about, is what can you do? Can you play an extra week? Can you play a couple extra weeks? So still so much to play for both of these teams, and so much at stake tonight for sure. And we're excited to be a part of that. We have not been let down any of the weeks we've been on here with the Lorain County Sports Network, so we're happy to have those who are with us tonight. And as we get ready for kickoff, let's go into more specifically, Mike. I know we talked about a little bit of conversations with the coaches, but what do you feel is going to be or are the keys to tonight's game to make this happen?
Yeah, we'll start with North Ridgeville, and we kind of mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, kind of bouncing back from a loss, and you mentioned 2 very emotional games the last 2 weeks, and they're going to be bouncing back with a backup quarterback who's a returning starter, which you don't say that very often, but Brendan Watchhorn will be the quarterback here tonight, so interested to watch the offense under him. They need to try to win the battle up front, and then for North Ridgeville, you just got to do what you do. And all season it's been their physical defense, their running game, and they've been winning in the turnover margin. For Elyria, really trying to generate some offense tonight. They've only generated 32 points in 5 games. In order to do that, they're going to have to win the battle up front and run the football. We're going to see Kevin Jordan's name called a lot, and they have to be disciplined on defense. North Ridgeville will, stress you out with their offense, a lot of misdirection. So Elyria needs to be disciplined defensively as well as offensively to, get this game to the fourth quarter and put themselves in a position to win.
The keys to the game brought to you by Mahar's Mental Health and Recovery Services of Lorain County. Be there for mental illness and addiction recovery with our friends at Mahar's. So let's get into those starting lineups because we're actually having first-time starting quarterback assignments for both teams here this week. And as I mentioned, that Elyria is going to be coming out getting the opening kickoff, so we're going to introduce their starting lineup on offense. In the middle, center Jamil Abernathy anchors the line, and there he's a 6-foot, 280-pound senior. We talked about the size they have up there. At the guards, it's Mike Alvarez on the left and Zion Newsom on the right, both coming in at 270-plus. And the tackles are Devin Johnson on the left at 285 and Jackson Goodspeed. He tops out the largest of the linemen up there. He's a 300-pounder. He's only a sophomore as well. So the quarterback tonight will be Stephen Gilbert. He's a 5'10 junior. He has been doing a lot of the running back assignments, and you're going to see some wildcat formations tonight too. So you not necessarily see him behind the center on all the plays, but he'll be our starting quarterback. And Kevin Jordan, number 2, will be getting probably the bulk of the carries tonight. Jordan is a 6-foot junior. We're also going to see tight end is Teo Perez. And the out guys on the outside are Rico Baker, Stephen Mayer, and Xavier Church. So that'll be the guys you'll be looking for on Elyria. They'll be going up in the first series against a 3-4 set up for the Rangers defense, anchored in the middle by Shane Osborne. He's a 6'3" senior. And on either side of him is Ashton Cassetto and Finley Keller. Those will be your tackles up front for the North Ridgeville Rangers. Linebackers are Austin DeShazo and Nate Obler in the middle. Carson Mattis, who was referenced by Coach Morgan in the beginning of the game, and Tyler Paragord are on the outside. Cornerbacks will be Carter Clark and Malik Abu Saleh, and safeties will be Xavier Compton and Brett Leinerth. And our starting lineups brought to you each week by Kevin Brubaker, running for mayor. So we appreciate them being out here. You hear the Elyria Pioneers coming on the field from their beautiful locker room training facility that's on the northern end of this complex now. We'll be playing on AstroTurf tonight, and as we mentioned earlier, beautiful night for football. Our game time temperature is 69 degrees with clear skies. The wind has been a little bit, I don't want to use the word gusting because it's not been a significant gust, but right now the flag is just limp, and that's how we expect it to be now that we're getting so close to sunset. But we have had some breezes kick up out of the east, so don't anticipate that to be any factor in the game tonight with the clear skies. We do expect the temperatures to fall a little bit quicker. As you mentioned, going into fall, Mike, it means the sunsets are earlier. We're a 7:26 sunset here in Elyria this evening. And I remember week one, I think we were at like 8:20. It was like an hour since in the 6 weeks we've been playing football. The sun is set an hour earlier. But nonetheless, the lights are already on here at Ely Stadium, and we are ready for some action here as we get things set and ready to go. Our game time forecast and conditions brought to you by Lorain County Clerk of Courts Tom Orlando, who's a proud sponsor of Lorain County Sports. So all the sponsors that have been with us throughout this first season, and we really appreciate everything they do. And sometimes we don't get to mention as much. Janasco Insurance gives you the protection you need and the service you deserve. And our friends at Erie's Market, which is home of the Cool Cat Combo. And I think that's kind of a nice thing to have. That's a reference to our sister station, WDLW, the Cool Cat, who is broadcasting live tonight from Bay Village. And then another game that's really a lot of playoff considerations is on WOBL this evening, because Clearview is all of a sudden now they're shot up after that Lakewood game. You're kind of like, oh, they're a tough team. Let's see what they do with that. And boy, they have just marched forward with the season. And that game's on WOBL tonight. So Clearview trying to not only hold strength, maintain, but strengthen their playoff position, as well as what North Ridgeville is trying to do tonight. We have just a second. I talk real quick, like a quick reaction at Avon Lake defense last week. You know, I wanted to. One of the things I thought of was after watching the Avon Lake defense, if they play like that every week, they've got as much a chance to go as deep in the playoffs as literally anybody in this region. But then I thought of the Cleveland Browns, and it doesn't matter how good your defense plays sometimes, right?
Right. Well, we're going to see a North Ridgeville defense here to start, and everybody that you talk to talks about their physicality, their attitude that they play with. And it's really come over with Coach Morgan, and I'm excited to watch them hit the field first here against this Elyria offense.
As I mentioned, we had the coin toss before the game, and Elyria will be receiving. The North Ridgeville kick team is already out there. That's number 88, Finley Baker, who's going to be their kicker tonight. Already has the ball teed up, which I'm surprised the referees even give him the ball that early, but they're ready to go. Elyria's return team coming out here, and the coin toss was brought to you by Lorain County Convention and Visitors Bureau. We're now celebrating 200 years of Lorain County. That's a fantastic, something else I'm sure we'll be talking about as we go on through the season and into the year. So we're ready to go. Ball's teed up, and Baker has got a squib kick here. And it looks like the front man from the Elyria Pioneers cover team did grab it, but boy, that was taking some interesting bounces, and it's covered right away by Andre Lucky, who was not just lucky, but he was very attentive to what was going on and maintained his spot. You have that tendency when you're the return team to turn as soon as the ball's approached, and he was smart enough to look at that because that worked against North Ridgeville last week. They had an onside kick executed against them by Avon.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably something they saw on film this week that they thought they could get it at some point to start the game.
So it gives Elyria a great starting position, though. That's the risk reward of the onside kick. And we do see, I believe that's Gilbert in the shotgun to start. We mentioned before off the air that these jersey combinations of the black jerseys with the red numbers sometimes don't come out that easily to pick up from here. But a good start for the Pioneer offense is just run straight up the middle. And that's Jordan getting the first carry and taking it out to midfield for a gain of 5.
Yeah, Coach Fox here tonight. They're going to run the football, try to shorten the game as much as they can, and keep their offense on the field.
And we expect both teams to be running the football a lot, so this will be one of those games that might move a little bit. Shotgun snap again, hand off to Jordan, kind of tries to squeeze out towards the right tackle area, and he gets wrapped up pretty quickly by Carson Mattis. And that's a name we talked about several times in the pregame. We're calling his name already here. Gain of 1, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 here on the first drive of the game for the Pioneers.
And you'll see a lot of movement tonight up front by North Ridgeville with a lot of stunting and blitzing.
Now a shift. They're going to have 2 receivers split left, and now they're not only coming right, but they're exchanging positions as Xavier Church is now split wide to the left. Everyone's finally set in position. Snap. Comes to Gilbert. Hands off again up the middle, and Jordan breaks a tackle and stays on his feet, but then is stood up and runs sideways for a while. And he's going to be short of the first down. Gets out to the 46-yard line of the Rangers for a gain of 3. So decision-making time early for Coach Fox of whether you go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, we'll see what they come up with here. A personnel change for Elyria, so we'll see kind of what they can come here at 4th and 1.
Well, I have as the punter listed as 83 for Elyria, and he is definitely not on the field. It's actually Gilbert, still kind of not really, I wouldn't call that shotgun formation because he's a good 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but getting the play signaled in from the sideline. And now he's in a deep shotgun formation with a man in motion, and he's going to hand it off and come around the right side, and it's a trick play. They're looking to throw it down, and by the time he gets rid of it, the pressure did not allow him to set his feet. Was originally looking downfield for that was actually B.J. Todd was down the right sideline. He was the intended receiver, and he was down about the 25-yard line. There was so much pressure as they were coming around the outside with Stephen Mayer, and he ended up just trying to get it to Kevin Jordan at the last minute. It would have been enough for a first down, but it falls incomplete, so it turned the ball over on downs on the first series for Elyria, and with 9:58 to go in this first quarter, North Ridgeville's lined up and ready to play. Run right off the left tackle, and all kinds of room going left and going using the sideline, and finally gets shoved out of bounds. What a start for the Rangers, as that's Charlie Steinmetz taking the handoff and just running the daylight. They're going to mark that out of bounds at the Elyria Pioneer 31-yard line, so that's going to be a gain of 23 on a first down play.
Yeah, before we can even talk about it, this North Ridgeville offense, a lot of misdirection. Elyria's going to have to be very disciplined.
So it's Watchorn in at quarterback with Cole Miller being injured, but Watchorn did play and start all the games last year, and now they're going to run around the right tackle. And that play gets blown up and submarined very quickly. And that's Andre Lucky, who we've already called his name earlier on the opening kickoff, coming in to make that tackle for no gain. Going to bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and you'll see both backs tonight. Barnhart, the sophomore, and Steinmetz, the junior, will both get carries in this offense.
And that was Barnhart on that first down carry, and he's behind Watchorn in the shotgun in motion now. And Steinmetz going to look, or Watchorn going to look right, and gets a completion out on the right side, past the 25-yard line. And that is going to be Austin Young. Catches it about the 25 and twists forward to the 23 for a gain of 8. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 2 on this opening drive for the Rangers.
Yeah, nice little hitch there against a soft corner. Just a nice little pitch and catch to put him back in a 3rd and manageable.
Not really a hurry-up offense by anything, but Ridgeville right to the line out of the huddle, and a quick handoff over the left side, and that is again also blown up by the Pioneer front line for maybe even a loss of a yard. Now they're going to put it back down to the 23, so no gain on that one.
Yeah, another big 4th down here. Look for North Ridgeville to go with some misdirection, some motion, try to test Elyria's patience here.
4th and 2, Watchorn slaps his fingers. Looks like a blitz coming from the linebackers, but he gets a counter play, and it's eaten up right away. That's B.J. Todd, who was on top of the ball handler basically as soon as he got it. It's going to be a loss of 2 on the play, knocking it back to the 25, and that's where Elyria is going to start their 2nd drive of the game. Nice job by the Elyria defense after that first down play that went for so many yards. They really buckled down on the next 4.
Yeah, big stop by the Elyria defense, adjusting to that counter play. Big stop, get it back for their offense here.
So we're 4 minutes into the game, and we're already on our 3rd drive. Gilbert takes a shotgun snap. Looks like he's going to take it himself, but he's got pressure right away. Does wind his way to the sideline and quick enough to get a couple of yards out of that. Well, it looked like he ran straight out of bounds, but I saw the official wind the clock, so I'm not sure. Give him a game of only 1 on that one. 2nd and 9. Opening quarter, 7:37. Elyria with the ball.
You'll see Elyria signal the play in. Ridgeville doing a lot of movement up front.
It's Gilbert in a shotgun. And he hands off this time, and big hole over the left side. And getting out to the 40-yard line before he's brought down. Again, I'm going to tell you right now, I know I'm going to have some trouble these tonight, but that's Jordan. And they'll put it down on the 40-yard line for the first down of the game for the Elyria Pioneers.
Yeah, and
14-yard gain.
You'll see a lot of wrinkles like that from Coach Fox, direct snaps and different things to try to stress the defense.
We're running over the left side of Elyria line. That's Mike Alvarez anchoring there and open up a big hole for the Pioneers on that play. Now 1st and 10. North Ridgeville showing blitz. Jordan gets the handoff, cuts back between the blitzing linebackers, but then gets wrapped up after a gain of just a couple by Austin DeShazo.
Yeah, and that's already 5 carries for Jordan. Last week at Olmsted Falls, 37 carries for 215 yards. So he's definitely going to get the rock quite a bit.
Say that again.
37 carries for 215.
Wow, 37 times to carry the ball. That's a lot of work. His legs look fresh tonight, though. That's a good news for them. That's the joy of being 16, 17 years old,
Good to be young.
Exactly. 2nd and 8 for the Pioneers. Again, Ridgeville showing a blitz this time from the left side. Gets stunned enough that Gilbert had a chance to look, but eventually he's tracked down by the blitzing North Ridgeville Ranger, and that was Carson Mattis again coming in from his left side and forced Gilbert to take off left, and he just tracked him down from behind, made the play from start to finish, and that's going to be basically putting it back at the 41. So we'll call it a loss of 1 on that one, and brings up 3rd and 9 for Elyria. 5:45 to go. The clock moving here in the first quarter. 2 receivers split right this time for Elyria, with running back next to Gilbert in the backfield, and the shotgun snap comes, he hands it off. That's going to be Jordan going left tackle, got some room, he has the first down, gets into Ridgeville territory, and finally muscled down at about the 44-yard line as he finally got wrapped up by Xavier Compton and dragged to the ground. And that's going to be a gain of 15 for the Pioneers, and another first down.
Yeah, Coach Morgan talked about the size of Elyria up front and their ability to kind of control the line of scrimmage, and you're kind of seeing it right here, able to run the ball.
Now we're getting kind of a last-minute substitution coming on for Elyria, and is going to go into the quarterback position. That's Stephen Mayer. Now I got trips to the right. 1st and 10, 44-yard line for Elyria. 4:54 in this first quarter. Mayer takes a snap, and he's looking left and throwing left, and he's got a guy out there, but just out of the reach of his intended receiver was Rico Baker out there. That's a tough one, though, especially when you haven't been throwing and you come off the bench and the first play is like, hey, throw it 25 yards down the left side on a timing pattern. And unfortunately, their timing was off just a little bit on that one to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and you just don't know how many reps those guys have had. Mayer's listed as a receiver on the roster, so you just don't know how many reps they've had together.
Exactly, because even Gilbert was not the number 1 quarterback earlier. Now this time he's got the snap, though, and he's scrambling around the left side to get a couple of yards before he's wrapped up and brought down. We'll give him 2 on that one and place it down at they're just giving him the 43, so just a gain of 1. So technically going to be 3rd and a short 9. Still, we'll call it 9 from here, and I think probably at this point in the game, what we've seen so far, maybe already even in 4-down territory in this part of the field. Maybe.
Yeah, and you see Mayer come in, so obviously there's coaches up here in the press box. You see that when he comes in. He's thrown the only 2 passes so far, so we'll see what they do here.
We got 2 receivers stacked on either side of the line, and Mayer's running for his life around the left side, and he is taken down out of bounds. That time it's not only Carson Mattis, but he's got a friend in Tyler Paragord who pulls Mayer down for about a 2-yard loss back to the 46-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down, and it looks like we are getting the punt team to come out for Elyria at this point, at least in this point in the game, and this win the battle of field position on this series.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Elyria, you got to stay in 3rd down and manageable. 3rd and 8, it's tough for any offense, but especially, this Elyria offense that has got some different guys in there.
And Ridgeville's clearly bringing the pressure on the quarterback from the outside. It's not coming straight up the middle. Snap is good. Kick is up, goes to the left sideline, and is caught at about the 15. And I guess he signaled for a fair catch there. As for the Rangers, that's Carter Clark grabbing that one before it goes out of bounds. And with 3:19 to go in this first quarter, that's where North Ridgeville is going to start their second series of this game. So with no score here, as we're a good portion of the way through the first quarter of Week 6, putting the ball down at the 15-yard line for Ridgeville. Now, coming into this game, the Elyria defense is giving up, kind of, a lot of points, right? I mean, they're averaging, giving up 38 points a game. And now we got North Ridgeville, as I'm saying that, brings out right to the line. And that'll be Steinmetz going off the right side and getting himself a first down as he gets it out to the 26. But I was going to say, surprised that North Ridgeville really hasn't even threatened any type of score so far.
Yeah, and there you saw that counter play. Coach Fox was talking to us on the field about that play in the pregame. You got to be able to read your keys, be disciplined.
So Brendan Watcher on the quarterback. He hands off again, this time over the left side, and stacked up, but moved the ball forward about 3 yards. And that time it's Barnhart, the ball carrier. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, Coach Morgan talked about how Barnhart last year as a freshman would actually seek contact. And they're trying to get him to be a little bit more elusive and avoid contact a little bit. But he's a big kid for a sophomore.
We've all known some of those kids, right? All right, this time it's a reverse counter play going around the right side and breaking a tackle and skipping past another one is Steinmetz with another dramatic run. He opened the game with one of those. And this time he's going to be out to the 47, 48-yard line. So that's going to be a gain of 19 on 2nd down and another first down for the Rangers.
Yeah, we'll see Elyria. They adjusted well on the first drive to that play, and they're going to have to adjust as well here on the second drive.
So Ridgeville obviously content to focus on their running game, and this time it's a handoff to the motion back coming around and now taking it off the right side and getting about 5 yards out there is Ryan Anderson. Gets knocked off his feet in Elyria territory at the 48-yard line, so we'll call that a gain of 4.
Yeah, a lot of different ways that North Ridgeville can run the football against you. They can run the jet sweep like they just did, the counter, or in between the tackles with Barnhart as well.
So 2nd and 6 for Ridgeville. Again, quickly to the line. This time it's Steinmetz getting the ball from behind Watchorn, and that one is stacked up by the Elyria defensive line. And Zion Newsom for the Pioneers lets the crowd know that he was in the middle of shutting that one down, and they're going to put the ball down back at the 50, so that's going to be a loss of 2. And brings up 3rd and a long, call it 7.
Yeah, passing down, so we'll see if Watchorn puts the ball in the air here.
Now with Austin Young is split widest to the right. Watchorn's looking that way, and he's looking for Watchorn, and he's got him. The nice catch at the 40. The defensive back had fallen down, but I think he got a grab of the feet of the receiver Young as he went up to get it and came down, so he wasn't able to escape that, but it's still enough for a first down for the Rangers that they put the ball down at the Elyria 40.
Yeah, great pass by Watchorn. Stepped into it, that little curl route, put it on the money.
3rd first down of this drive for the Rangers, and this time it is another passing down, and this is showing it right down the middle. It's intercepted, but a great catch by the 24-yard line with a lot of room to run, and this one is likely to go to the house with the way the pursuit is. Running out of gas a little bit is number 18 for the Elyria Pioneers. Gets all the way down. Wow, let's do the math on that one. I know we had a number change out there, right? So that's Xavier Church, who normally wears 12, but wearing 18 tonight. So Xavier Church takes it, grabs the ball at his own 24, and brings it back to the North Ridgeville 20 is where they're putting this one down at. So a 56-yard interception return.
Yeah, great play. What a momentum shift here. Great, almost looked like a one-handed interception. North Ridgeville tried to throw a little jet pass, and great play by Elyria there.
Yeah, they had the receiver coming down on a kind of a post pattern and in the seam, and wow, Church read it perfectly. Not only grabbed the ball, but I thought he had a chance for the end zone, but his legs did tire a little bit there at the end of that one. This is Jordan right up the middle and wrapped up immediately by a bunch of white jerseys. and pulled down for no gain. So it's going to be 2nd and 10, and that's probably going to be the last play of this first quarter. Here at Mercy Health Field at Ely Stadium, we've got no score between the Elyria Pioneers and the North Ridgeville Rangers in this 3rd week of the Southwestern Conference. Big game for both teams, and we will be back with the 2nd quarter right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. It's homecoming week here in Elyria, and we've had a great start to this one. They're all good ones in the Southwestern Conference. I tell you what, I mean, this is a lot at stake here for both teams trying to maneuver through the second half of the season, and you're joining us here at the start of the 2nd quarter with Elyria facing a 2nd and 10 from the Ridgeville 20. No score here at Ely Stadium. This is Gilbert right in at the quarterback here. His motion left and takes a snap, looks, but he's keeping it himself the whole way, and he darts his way down to about the 10-yard line. Going to be
pick up 5 on the play.
So they put the. I had us down at the 20-yard line. They moved it to the 15. The ball was. Did I miss something? Was there a mistake in the changing? Did they? We were talking about it up here. I had it down for the 20, and the return was to the 20. No gain on the first play. But they're running from the 15, so now it's 2nd and 5 from the 10. We're in the I-90 Nissan red zone as Jordan takes the handoff immediately, is made contact with as he tries to move forward. Gets nothing on that one as well.
Yeah, big stop by the North Ridgeville defense. See if they can finish it here. That's the sign of a great defense, is when you can stand up after a turnover like that.
That's Christian Anelia is who made that play. I don't even have him on our 2 deep, and he's jumping in there making plays. So good for him to take advantage of getting in there. So 4th down, they're going to try what's going to end up being a 27-yard field goal. I want to go back and review the tape. Did I make, if I made a mistake, that wouldn't be the first time. But that could be a huge turn, having 5 yards closer to kick a field goal on the change of field. Did he say it was the right one?
Yeah, and tough penalty to take there for Elyria. I don't know their kicking situation, but for any high school kicker, you don't want to make it 5 yards further.
Yeah, well, and now the holder is actually coming away limping for some reason, so I'm not sure why that would be. So putting the ball down on the ground will be Justice Martin for the Pioneers. And now that makes it a 32-yard attempt. Kick is up, and it's got the distance. It's straight enough. It is good. So Pioneers taking an early lead on this one with a great kick, a 32-yard field goal to put them on the board here at Ely Stadium on homecoming night for the Pioneers. They got the lead on the North Ridgeville Rangers, and we'll come back with more of this game on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in Elyria, the net result of that drive was 0 yards because the penalty took away the 5 yards that were gained after that huge interception return that put Elyria in position to take this lead on the 32-yard field goal by Tim Rader. So 3-0 now, Elyria on top, 10:19 to go in this first half on a beautiful Friday night here in Elyria. Rader again is the one kicking it off, and he squibs it down the left hash mark, and it's picked up at about the 20. And up knee touchdown there about the 27. So not a bad way to start this drive as North Ridgeville gets a chance to, they've moved the ball, but sporadically so far.
Yeah, the turnover really hurt them, and their defense was able to stand up and kind of get a win to force a field goal. And if you're Elyria, you're feeling good. You've got points on the board and trying to go get another turnover perhaps.
Yeah, you know, not only you mentioned the defense for Ridgeville kind of stepping up and making sure they held them to a field goal there, but the offense for North Ridgeville, the pursuit on the interception return, they didn't give up on that because it looked for a while that he had an angle to get to the end zone, and they were able to gang tackle him there. This time Watchorn takes the ball and hands it off over the left side to start this drive. And that's going to be Barnhart, the carrier. And as they put that one down at the 29-yard line for a gain of just 2.
And we saw Elyria compete very, very well last week against Olmsted Falls, down 14-0 at halftime last week, and kind of, got worn out. But this is another game where they've had a good start here.
Second down. This time they're going to do that same, I don't know if you want to call it a counter or counter reverse or whatever it's called for in the playbook, but it involves Steinmetz taking it over the left side on that one, and gets a couple more. Put that ball down just past the 32-yard line for a gain of 3.
And that's a play that, Coach Morgan in his 3rd year, he's also had the same coordinators for 3 years, both on offense and defense. And that little counter play, that's a week 1 play that they put in, 3 years ago.
So now you're up to 3rd and 5 for the Rangers. Second quarter action. Elyria up 3-0. Motion man coming around, fakes it to him and throws it left. And it just kind of winged it right past the intended receiver. Andrew Ennis was out there. It all kind of whizzed to behind him and above him and out of bounds, and that's going to bring up 4th down for North Ridgeville, and most likely a punting situation as we see Finley Keller out there and going into punt formation, standing at about his 20-yard line.
And John, you talked in the pregame about the 2 emotional games that North Ridgeville has played the last 2 weeks, and as we know in this conference, every week is a battle, and they've got one here tonight.
Snaps a little high, but Keller does a good job of bringing it down. Good hang time, not a whole lot of distance. Now a great bounce for Ridgeville, and it keeps going down inside the 20, down and going to be down at about the 17-yard line. Wow. That's going to be a 51-yard net punt for Keller on that one, and that's where Elyria will start this next drive at their own 17 with 8:52 to go in this game. But for the Pioneers, they come out with a little enthusiasm because obviously they have the lead now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if they can kind of continue to run the ball, control the ball. Not necessarily how Coach Fox would like to play, but he's done a good job of adjusting to his personnel here.
And we expected before the kind of last-minute changes to the lineup that there would be a lot of ins and outs and wildcat formations, but this makes it even more so. And this is Kevin Jordan taking it and now dragging the tackler almost a good 6-8 yards after contact on that one, but not just contact, but literally dragging a Ridgeville Ranger along with them. Takes it all the way out to the 32-yard line for a gain of 15 and a Pioneer first down. They get right to the line. This is Mayer in shotgun formation now. 10 is Mayer, Gilbert is 7. Both of them been doing quarterback chores. Kevin Jordan is 2. He's now to the left of Mayer in the backfield. Takes the shotgun snap, looking left the whole time, and now throwing it, trying to get it over the head. And this is Church battling the whole way with Adonis Battling the whole way with the Ridgeville Rangers defender out there was Carter Clark, and he was right on point coverage the entire way. And I think looking at it from this angle and the officials not throwing a flag, it kind of seemed advantage, disadvantage as contact was being kind of initiated by both. Is that what you saw, Mike, on that one?
Typically in high school football, when you don't make an effort to look back as a defender, it's almost an automatic call. So kind of got away with one there a little bit.
That's one of the, here's a blitz coming from North Ridgeville, and that makes Gilbert have to take the snap himself and kind of scramble off to the left side, and it's actually going to be a loss on that play. A lot of aggressiveness by the Ridgeville Rangers defense there, and almost daring Elyria to kind of put it past them, but obviously if you don't have time in the pocket to make that kind of play, the defense ends up being remarkably effective, right? Ball's put down at the 30-yard line, so it's going to be a loss of 2 and bring up a 3rd down and 12.
Yeah, another down and distance that Elyria would prefer not to be in here with their current situation.
So Mayor's been doing most of the throwing, and he is in there at quarterback on this 3rd and long with twin receivers to the right, and Coach Fox finally, after looking at that lineup, says, we're going to take a timeout here. And with 7:34 to go in this first half, and Elyria leading 3-0, we'll be back to see what the Pioneers do on 3rd down. Stay tuned to the Lorain County Sports Network. Timeout here on the field brought to you by Lorain County Recorder Mike Doran, securing and organizing real estate documents. And as always, we appreciate all of our sponsors. And as we get going tonight, I know I need to get them all in, so I want to make sure we recognize our friends at Lorain County Community College. Kick off your future with LCCC as they bring you opening kickoff. Here we're in the 2nd quarter, and 3rd and long for Elyria, and they try a quick screen pass on the left side. And the ball goes through the hands of the intended receiver. That was Rico Baker out there. Falls incomplete. And with 4th and long coming, that's going to bring up a punting situation for the Pioneers.
Yeah, just trying to get the ball to one of your athletes. A little quick screen. Safe throw, but not able to connect there.
So this will be Rader doing the punting as well for the Pioneers. He's looking to make sure he's counting out there. He only had 9 guys in front of him. He says, man, this would be a lot easier if I had 10. So they bring in another black jerseyed player, and now we're ready for the punt. And Ridgeville looks like they might be bringing pressure. They are.
They got one last week.
Nice punt. Good hang time. Decent distance. Hits at about the 44. Takes a bounce one way, then the other, and then sideways. And then that's where Elyria is going to put it down, is at the 44-yard line. With 7:18 to go in this first half, North Ridgeville gets the ball back and definitely winning the field position flip on those corresponding punts from each team. Great punt by North Ridgeville with the bounce that they had on there. As Elyria was a fine punt with good hang time and ends up being a net of 25 yards.
And if you're Ridgeville, you got to put a drive together here to take advantage of this field position.
Snap comes, Watchorn takes it, gives it to Barnhart, and he goes over left guard and then just starts bowling down the middle of the line. Right up the right hash mark, gets the ball out to the 34-yard line, so a first down gain of 21 yards and a first down for Ridgeville. You said they want to get a drive going. That'll do it. You put together a couple 16, 17, 18-yard plays, and it goes quickly. It's 6:59 here in the first half is what we've got as Ridgeville's back to the line with trips to the left, another receiver right, one running back behind Watchorn, and hands it off, and that's going to be Barnhart, and this time he's grabbed up and going to be wrestled to a stop at about the 32-yard line for a gain of 2. So we almost had a wrestling match breaking out. You know that you got that storied Elyria wrestling program here. You know, a lot of them do spend the football season out here, so it looked like we might have had one of those going on. But good stop by the Elyria defense to respond to the big run from North Ridgeville. Brings up 2nd and 8. Watchorn again, shotgun. Motion is Steinmetz, and he's the leading blocker for Barnhart. And again, straight up the middle, and he just kind of ducks a defender and keeps going. And now he's all the way into the I-90 Nissan red zone again as he's marked down at the 16-yard line of Elyria. And that's another gain of 16 and a first down for the Rangers.
And you see North Ridgeville trying to spread Elyria's defense out a little bit to try to make it a little bit easier to run the football. And on this drive, it's been a nice adjustment.
And that's what happens on that play. If he gets that gap at the line of scrimmage, because they're spread out, there's not a lot of help in the middle, and took advantage of just going straight ahead football. kind of looking at this time they handed it off to Steinmetz coming inside on the counter. And that one didn't fool anybody. Elyria's been reading that one well. First play of the game, they got over on the left side, but since then, Elyria's done well. That ball gets put down at the 16, so that'll be no gain. 2nd and 10, North Ridgeville trying to get on the board here with the Pioneers leading 3-0. 5:28 with the clock moving here in the first half. We're heading to halftime. We invite you to stay tuned. We'll look for scores from the rest of the county. We'll talk about the stats that made up the first half, and we will be rating the dog. This time, handoff to Barnhart, goes kind of left side and gets grabbed from behind. And again, I'll use the word wrestled to the ground. This time it's Xavier Stevens who makes the tackle, a gain of just 1. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 9 for the Rangers as the Pioneer defense has stiffened. And in the middle of that Pioneer defense, Zion Newsom is trying to get the crowd a little bit more enthused about it. Here's Watchorn throwing in. A nice catch by Steinmetz on the right side and gets enough. Should have enough for the first down. I think he went out of bounds at about the 5, and 6 was the yard to gain to get first down, and it is going to be 1st and goal for the Rangers. Beautifully executed 10-yard pass play from Watchorn to Steinmetz, coming up rolling left. Oh, I'm sorry, rolling right, and 4:30 to go and time to score. Plenty of time to score if the Rangers can put it in the end zone.
Yeah, nice play design, like you said. The play action boot, able to hit Steinmetz in the flat.
Now do you just look for Barnhart to power it right up the middle here like he's been doing on a few plays. That's what they do. Give it to him right up the middle. This time the Pioneer defense is ready for that. Stacks them up and now pushing them back and gets inside the 5 technically, but didn't make it to the 4, so that's going to be a no gain.
Yeah, we saw last week with Avon Lake that Bova was their short yardage back, but you know, when you've got a kid like Barnhart, he is built for that as well.
And they've showed it already tonight multiple times. Barnhart's just straight up the middle, and if he can get through that first gap, he kind of bulls his way down the middle of the field till multiple people take him down many times. But that time, Elyria caught him by the knees before he got past the line of scrimmage. Steinmetz is the one in motion. He gets the pitch over the left side. Has some room, has one guy to beat, and he does, and he gets to the corner of the end zone for a score, and the Rangers get on the board here with 3:34 to go in the half, putting them up 6-3 on a 5-yard run by Charlie Steinmetz.
Yeah, and a great drive. You know, that's what good teams do, and North Ridgeville's becoming a good program, and they needed a spark, obviously, and they got it, and they did what they do best. They rode Steinmetz and Barnhart.
And we've talked about it before the game. You know, so many different things make up games from week to week, because a lot of people, you know, see what North Ridgeville's done this year. They look at kind of the averages of scores, and you think this one's going to be an easy one maybe for Ridgeville. But when you look beyond the numbers, there's a lot more going on in the field. And with the extra point being good, we have a really good game going on here. In the first half, it's now North Ridgeville 7, Elyria 3 with 3:34 to go in the half. We'll be back with the next kickoff right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. Glad to have you with us from Ely Stadium in Elyria. It's North Ridgeville 7 and Elyria 3 on the Lorain County Sports Network as North Ridgeville finds the end zone on their 4th possession of the game. And now another, just like they started the game with, a little squib kick onside. I don't know if you call it onside or squib, but it covered very quickly and very well by the Pioneer coverage team. And that's Andre Lucky again, who's twice been in the middle of the field, and they're not finding any luck in trying to fool him off the kickoff, and it gives a great starting position for the Pioneer defense. Now, beginning of the game, strategy can be one thing or another. Now, at this point of the game, the way it's played out, I mean, I think North Ridgeville is saying we're willing to take the chance because of what our defense has been able to do and stymie the Elyria offense for the most part.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, they have confidence in their defense, and they're confident they can get a stop.
So from their own 44, Gilbert hands off, and he gets a gap for Jordan, and he just catches his foot on a defender as he was getting to the second level, but he has enough athleticism and balance to get it all the way into North Ridgeville territory to the 45. That could have been a whole lot more for North Ridgeville, if not for that one spot. But an 11-yard gain and a first down. Jordan again right back to the backfield and takes the handoff off the left side and stacked up with a gain of only about 1 on that one. Both teams, we talked about the kind of the clock moves a little quicker when there's a lot of running plays, but both teams getting to the line quickly. It's not really a hurry-up offense, but let's huddle. We're done. Let's get to the line and short snaps.
Yeah, and
the next thing will be drawing the other team off sides, and they lull them into that rhythm.
Yeah, and Coach Fox talked about that on the field in pregame. They've had success there this season with their tempo in the run game.
2:45 to go in this first half. Elyria with the ball in Ridgeville territory. Gilbert keeping this one for himself over the left side. Looking for some opening and gets enough of a gap to get down to the 39-yard line for a gain of 5. Now this brings up what we talked about earlier, kind of a third down situation for Elyria, but more of a manageable 3rd and 4 here, where they've seen a lot of 3rd and 9 and even behind the sticks a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot easier to call plays, of course, for Coach Fox when you can be in these manageable situations.
And they're right to the line with Twins right, but it looks like they only have 10 players on the field as they're bringing B.J. Todd back on the field, and he's stacked as a receiver on the left side. Twins split to the right. That's still Kevin Jordan, the back. Oh no, that's Jordan getting in the Wildcat now with Mayer. No, Jordan's taking the snap. They're moving back and forth, and Jordan just takes it straight up the left side and gets the first down as he gets it over to the 34. Had both Mayer and Jordan kind of looking to the sideline and moving left and right, and finally it was Jordan taking I guess that's considered a Wildcat formation because we know they use it so much. I don't know what points Wildcat and what points this is the way we play. And unfortunately, we do have a Pioneer injured on the field. So ball's going to be placed down at the 34 for Elyria. So that's a gain of 5 and going to bring up a second down with 1:50 to go in the half. Elyria really basically having their best drive of the game so far.
Yeah, really, good to see them, put together this drive. They're in a situation where, they're inside 2 minutes. They definitely don't want to give the ball back to North Ridgeville. So they're going to try to see if they can, get into field goal range. We saw their kicker make a field goal earlier, so we'll see what type of range he may have, but certainly right now Elyria is looking for 6.
So it shows that it's Parker Osborne who's now getting up and somewhat, slowly walking off it under his own power, but he's just a freshman out there on this roster here, 68. So I know we've had some number changes, so we've had some player changes on the roster. There's some number changes, so I do have Parker as the backup center, though, so he might have been out there for that. Or playing one of the lineman positions, so it does look like Jamil Abernathy, who's the listed starting center, is out there. It's first down for Elyria at the 34. Now passes out to the left side, caught at the 24-yard line. Nice play, pitch and catch out on the left side. That's Xavier Church bringing that one in.
Yeah, nice timing pattern, nice throw there. Illyria's first completed pass here tonight.
A good point. Thank you for pointing that out. Because they haven't had a whole lot of attempts, right? Their first out of 5.
Correct.
Ends up another first down for the Pioneers, now at the 24-yard line of North Ridgeville, and taking the shotgun snap for himself around the left side is Gilbert. Gets inside the 20, so we're back in that I-90 Nissan red zone.
Yeah, nice blocking on the edge there for Gilbert to get to the corner there.
Takes it to the 18, and we're going to get a timeout from the Elyria sideline. That's their second, so they have 1 minute and 2 seconds left. Another timeout still in his pocket as they're trying to get back the lead before the half. This game is scoreless in the first quarter until Elyria made a 32-yard field goal early in the second quarter to take the lead, and then on the last drive of the game, North Ridgeville drove down the field and scored on a Steinmetz 5-yard run around the left side. With the kick being good, that made it 7-3, and that's where we stand here as we go towards halftime.
Yeah, so far this game has kind of kind of lived up to what we thought. Both teams like to play physical. Both teams like to run the football, and that's just another week in the SWC, and that's what we've gotten here thus far.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my chart. I know when we had the injury on the field, I guess I didn't realize that had moved the sticks right there. That was where the first down was from. So now we're at 2nd and 4 at the 18-yard line from the left hash mark. Elyria comes out of the timeout, but still going to look back to the sideline to get final instructions with shotgun to Jordan. He just takes it himself, tries to go straight up the middle, and gets met immediately and held on just long enough to get some help. Getting in there was Tyler Perigord, who got low and just held on to him by the ankles until some Ridgeville defensive partners could come and bring him down. Ball placed, put down at the 17, so just a gain of 1. 3rd down, we're under 36 seconds to go. This is Jordan running around the left side, runs into a wall, but keeps his feet, gets outside, stays in bounds, and is tackled for maybe even a loss of a yard on that one. And the clock now stopped at 30 seconds, and I believe that's because Coach Fox has called timeout because it looked like he was brought down inside the field of play. They're going to put it back to the 17.
Yeah, interesting decision here coming out of this timeout. I don't know what type of range their kicker has, so we'll see kind of what they come up with here.
Well, we saw a 32-yarder, and this would be about a 34, 35-yarders. And the kick that was up was made actually quite comfortably. Tim Rader did a nice job on his first one. So I think you have options, which is nice to have. But the problem that you also have to consider is that would be the 3rd and final timeout from Elyria. So with only 30 seconds to go, you don't have a lot of options. You can run the ball. The clock would stop briefly while they reset the chains if you get the first down. And they are going to come out with the offense. So we've got Kevin Jordan, the running back there standing alongside Gilbert, the quarterback. But both of them will get the direct snap depending on the play call. This time it is Jordan with the direct snap. Goes over the right guard slot and fighting forward. I don't think he's going to get it. The side judges are both coming in at the 15. And he needed to get past the 15 and close to the 14. So I think this is going to go over on downs to North Ridgeville. And waiting for the official signal, and there it is. So the North Ridgeville defense holds again with 24 seconds to go here in the first half. The play is stopped at the 15, and that wasn't enough to get up to another set of downs for the Pioneers. So Ridgeville's going to come out, and most likely with 24 seconds, I mean, do you try to throw it a couple times? Or you got timeouts on the North Ridgeville side.
I think the way North Ridgeville is built, I don't think that's something that they're going to try to do. I think they're content to get into the locker room at halftime, regroup, and take this lead. But you never know.
Well, the other consideration is that North Ridgeville will start the second half with the ball. So you don't feel any type of pressure that you're still in control. That, if your offense comes out and moves the ball in the second half, you maintain the lead, and that's what it is right now. Ridgeville 7-3 over Elyria. This time they're going to reverse this Steinmetz, and they're not fooling anybody on this one as he gets chased for a while in the backfield trying to stretch it out to the left, and is finally brought down. And Steinmetz is going to be thrown for a loss. And that's B.J. Todd again. We've called his name a number of times already tonight. He's having a great game on the defensive side. Puts the ball back at the 10. We're going to put it down at the 10, and so North Ridgeville is going to let that one clock run out. So loss of 5 on that one for Steinmetz, and it gets us to halftime here in Elyria. Make sure you stick around because not only do we have a great game with a 7-3 score and a lot to come in the second half, with so much at stake in this Southwestern Conference matchup, but during halftime, we'll check back in with you with some scores from other games, stats from this one, and we get to rate the dog as we do every week here. So stick around. Right now, it's halftime in Elyria, where the North Ridgeville Rangers lead 7-3, and we'll be back on the Lorain County Sports Network. homecoming night here in Elyria, but with the North Ridgeville band out there for halftime, they're talking about disco dancing out there. I'm going to keep my feet still up here. And John Guzik along with Mike Rush, as we are in Elyria with a great game so far. We've got North Ridgeville up 7-3. And as we recap the first half of this game, there was no scoring in the first half, and it was really just a battle of defenses. And what really started to change the game was an interception, probably the most electric play of the game, when Church came away with an interception, picked it off, and right in the middle of the field at his own 24, ran it all the way back into the red zone. The North Ridgeville defense did stand up there at the end of the first quarter, but early in the second quarter, the result of that drive was a Tim Rader 32-yard field goal. It's our first score of the game and put the Pioneers up 3-0. And after exchanging some punts, which gave North Ridgeville a little better starting field position, they had a 55-yard drive right there in the latter half of the second half. Actually started right at the middle of the second half. And with a 3-minute and 45-second drive, they went 55 yards, capped off by a Steinmetz 5-yard run around the left side. Kick was good on the extra point, and that is our score right now, with the North Ridgeville Rangers up 7-3. And checking some scores from around the conference, thanks to Rebecca Ann for listening and telling us that Avon Lake has now taken the lead after Amherst was up early. That's homecoming game in Avon Lake. And the Shoremen winning that one right now 13-7. Other early scores, Bay had an early lead on Elyria Catholic. That was 7-0 early. That game is on our sister station, WDLW. And on our other sister station, WOBL, Clearview was up 7-0 early over Wellington. Another Lorain County 8 game, Columbia 14, Oberlin nothing in that one. And also had a score from the Vermilion game, as Norwalk had taken a 6-0 lead when we checked in with that game between the Sailors. And we are going to have the Sailors on the air in a couple of weeks. Next week we go back to Oberlin College, which, quite frankly, I mean, things are nice here at Ely Stadium. Beautiful press box, spacious, well lit, very airy with windows in both the front and back of the press box. Makes it comfortable when it's not 35 degrees outside. And tonight it's beautiful. Next week, Oberlin College, that's just as fantastic. And we're going to have a great Lorain County League showdown there, because Black River Pirates coming in and battling to try to get into playoff position for themselves. Meanwhile, that Oberlin program, which we saw in week 1, definitely well improved and still looking for their first win of the season. As I mentioned, they got a tough one tonight up against Columbia. They're all tough ones in the Southwestern Conference. I mean, last week, Avon Lake won going away against Midview, but coming into that game, you don't take anyone for granted. Here tonight, North Ridgeville coming in with a tough loss to Avon last week, but obviously no skin off your back when you lose to the team that's favored to win the Southwestern Conference, and you hang with them well into the second quarter. But they lost their starting quarterback, so there's some adjustments to be made here, and their offense has been kind of like sporadic, but can't take anything away from the Elyria defense. Mentioned before, right now after 5 games, Elyria's defense has been giving up 38 points a game. They've only given up 7 tonight, and a lot of that you can kind of see as a team, especially with a first-year head coach, kind of coming together in the middle of the season, has made some really fine tackles, some good team defense. And I mentioned a great interception that not only stopped a drive, but pretty much led directly to their one and only score of the game to put the Pioneers on the board. So we've got a good one going on here. We'll keep abreast of these other scores that are going on around the county. And when we come back here, we're going to have stats from this game and be eating hot dogs, as we are live from Elyria on the Lorain County Sports Network. No shortage of entertainment tonight, an entertaining first half, and now we've had the Elyria Pioneer Band on the field after being discoed by the North Ridgeville Band. Before that, we're halftime here in Elyria, where North Ridgeville's Rangers coming in with a 4-1 record overall and 2-1 in the conference. Taking on the Elyria Pioneers, looking for their first win of the season. Score right now is the Rangers 7 and Elyria 3, so we've got a great one going on here. And it actually ended quite well with three, just counting up, Elyria had only 5 first downs in the first half offensively, but 3 of those came on their final drive, which was their best drive of the game. So that's something they can capitalize on and make more of that in the second half. That's what's lacking here, is getting them on the board. Their defense has done a great job. Again, they've been coming in averaging 38 a game, only gave up 7 here in the first half. While we have a second, I want to remind you that October 29th, hopefully you can put that on your calendar and come join us down at the Shipyards in Lorain, as we're going to have the annual fundraiser for the Jim Popiel Foundation. Of course, Jim Popiel is Jim Allen, who has been a fixture of Lorain County sports for 54 years and still going strong, and a foundation created in his name to benefit athletes from around the Lorain area. And a fundraiser each year is held, and this one's going to be on a Sunday afternoon. Beautiful venue down there along the riverfront. Come join us. And the Browns play late that day, and we'll have the Browns game on multiple TVs down at the Shipyards. And come in, I believe it's, I don't have all the details. I think it's 25 or 20 to get in, which includes, kind of a late lunch type of layout, and there'll be a cash bar, and there'll be raffles and going on throughout the afternoon as well. So come watch the Browns take on the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday afternoon, October 29th, and put some money not only in for good cause, but to recognize a very, very important part of Lorain County sports history and what Jim Allen has done for the area. What have these players done for us tonight? As we are at halftime here in Elyria, Mike Rush is with me, and he's been calculating the numbers that have made up this first half.
Yeah, some individual stats from that first half, starting with North Ridgeville. Passing the ball, Brendan Watchorn, 3 for 5 for 27 yards. He did have the 1 interception. Rushing the ball, they kind of have that two-headed monster between Barnhart and Steinmetz. It's been pretty balanced between the two of them. Barnhart, 9 carries for 48 yards. Again, he's doing a lot of his work inside the tackles. And then Steinmetz is a little bit more on the edges. He's 9 carries for 54 yards with 1 touchdown. Anderson had a carry for 5 yards. Receiving, Steinmetz has 1 catch for 10 yards on that play-action boot play in the flat, which led to a first down. And Young has 2 catches for 17 yards. For Elyria, really trying to control the ball, control the clock with their running game. They haven't put it in the air often. Mayer is 1 for 4 for 10 yards. Gilbert did put it up 1 time. It was incomplete. That rushing game, we talked about Jordan last week, 37 carries in the game last week against Olmsted Falls. He's got 15 carries so far at halftime for 77 yards. Gilbert has run the ball 7 times for 16 yards, and the 1 completion did go to Church. He's got the 1 catch for the 10 yards, so some individual stats here from this first half.
Well, I'm looking at some of the things off of my drive chart, so I'm adding this up roughly, but I think if I see this right, Elyria had 43 yards total offense on their first 4 drives, but then 41 yards of offense on their final drive. And that's what I'm talking about, is that if that is something that can become a trend and parlay that into the second half, and their defense continues to kind of bend but not break against the Ridgeville offense, this is where, clearly you're an 0-5 team, you're the underdog, and they always tell you don't want to let the underdog stick around too often, because then the pressure definitely shifts onto the Rangers. But we mentioned this in our pregame show earlier. It's tough coming off to play week in and week out in the Southwestern Conference at such a high level. And what they did holding Olmsted Falls to 3 points 2 weeks ago, they being the North Ridgeville Rangers defense, and then last week obviously putting everything they had out there in spite of losing cause to Avon. It's tough. Now 3rd week in a row you're trying to bring that on here, and so far Elyria has taken advantage of that, and some of the personnel changes they've made and the discipline things that have had to happen on their team. seem to be paying off. Everyone's kind of paying attention to the coach a little bit more, right, when that happens.
Yeah, super impressed with Elyria so far. You know, you coming into the game, you kind of hear the stories, and you're dealing with the discipline issues, and you really don't know what to expect. But so far, they've gotten an inspired group, and it's a credit to Coach Fox and his coaching staff for getting those guys ready, as you knew he would here tonight.
Andrew Bauman is our videographer on the camera tonight. Edwin Vereen is with us, and we all like to get together. We're working to see if we rate the dog here before we get to the second half, but we've got a few minutes left before that. So I wanted to give some recognition to some of the people. I appreciate my sister Chris is over in Avon and paying attention and making sure that we're sounding good and right tonight. And I mentioned Rebecca Ann over in Lorraine giving us some scores out there. Brian Morgan's parents, I'm told, are watching via YouTube tonight, as he is the coach of the North Ridgeville Rangers. And you might see on the sideline there's a couple of Elyria Pioneer coaches that are in white cover-ups on the sideline, so they're more noticeable by the players on the field that need to get them. And one of them, Jordan Connell, is got his kid Beckham is watching over in Bay Village tonight. Actually, is where they're at, and Beckham, and tell Vanessa, is Beckham's older sister, say hello, and Beckham's mom Allie. And appreciate you guys being on board with us here on the Lorraine County Sports Network YouTube channel, and everyone else who's been out there making this inaugural season be a lot of fun. It's already been fun for us, because it's Friday night and we get to watch high school football for a few hours, and there's never anything wrong with that. So we're happy to be here, but even more happier that you're out there watching us on the YouTube channel. And when we come back, we're going to be counting down and getting ready for the second half of what's turned out to be a really, really good Southwestern Conference matchup, as the North Ridgeville Rangers will start the second half with the ball and a 7-3 lead over the Elyria Pioneers here on homecoming night in Elyria. So stick around with us here on the Lorraine County Sports Network. Teams are back on the field here in Elyria, but we expect them to add another couple of minutes to the halftime clock as they do, as the bands march away. Elyria heading to the south end of the stadium. North Ridgeville already was congregating, watching in the northern part of the stadium, and now they're headed for their break. Our break did not go according to plan, as apparently is it Dollar Dog Night that they sold out so fast here at the Elyria concession stand, but apparently by the time we went down at halftime to rate our dogs, the dogs didn't exist. So we won't get a chance to challenge. So makes it easy on us. They're getting a 0.
I rely on that hot dog too to get me through the night.
And this is our only visit to Elyria this year too, so we don't get another chance to get it in there. But we do appreciate having some fun at halftime with our friend Brian Victor of Howard Hanna, who brings you Rate the Dog each week. And Brian says, enjoy the game. And we've got one to enjoy this week, as we have had Elyria take a first lead in this game early in the second quarter with a field goal, went up 3-0, and then North Ridgeville answered in the middle of the quarter with a touchdown, and that's where we stand here at halftime. 7-3, North Ridgeville over Elyria, and as the captains meet at midfield here at halftime, you see them indicating that North Ridgeville will get the ball to start the second half. A couple other scores following for you. Updated score from a couple of them around going on here. So Avon is now up on Olmsted Falls 10-3, and Avon Lake has now added another score, so they're up on Amherst 20-7. Other Southwestern Conference scores include Berea up over Midview 17-0. Of course, here we're at 7-3 in Lorain County League. Columbia up on Oberlin 14-0. Norwalk is now at halftime against Vermilion, and they have a 13-0 lead. On our sister station WOBL, Clearview's offense just continues to pound away the points. They are now with a 34-6 lead over Wellington, and that game is still listed in the second quarter. My goodness. Another good one we were looking forward to tonight is over at Brookside in Sheffield Village. Firelands is up 18-7 on that one. That one's at the half. Lorraine is up 21-0 over Garfield Heights, rolling over the Bulldogs out that way early. And now Elyria Catholic on our sister station WDLW has a 10-7 lead over Bay. Here it's 7-3, North Ridgeville over Elyria. Got a good one going on here. I mentioned the captains that were out there for the meet the referees at halftime, and our recognition of the captains comes from Lorain County Commissioner David Moore, who will be running in 24. And our referee crew tonight is anchored by referee Kevin Brown. And actually, we've had a penalty-free first half. I didn't miss any of those, right? That's
always good.
That's a rarity at any level of football, but hats off to both teams for playing penalty-free football. Justin Miller, Esquire, brings you the referee crew each week, serving your legal needs. And again, one of our fantastic sponsors who has made this expansion of the WOBL WDLW sports department possible. Kind of cool that now we have 3 games in Lorain County being broadcast and streamed live. And again, you can listen to that Bay Elyria Catholic game on WDLW, the Clearview Wellington game on WOBL, and listen to either station after we're done here, because they'll have a rundown of all the games, not just the scores, but talking to the players and coaches who made up those games with a lot of details on what was happening. That's how I learned about the Cole Miller injury last week. I was driving home from our game over at Midview, and I heard Dave Rivera tell me about Cole Miller going out of the game as North Ridgeville was playing Avon. And so you learn a lot listening to Dave Rivera and Maria Janasco back at the Studio Ranch. So WOBL, WDLW, AM, FM, website, app, so many different ways to make it easy. And I think Dave Facebook Lives it as well.
He does, yeah. I like how we talk to the players, the athletes in the post game.
That's always so much fun. Although I got to tell you, it's fun being up here doing the play-by-play. I'm always dry. But I loved doing the, here's a squib kick now on Elyria, answering what North Ridgeville's been doing to them a couple times on the kicks today, but covered up nicely just the same way Elyria's coverage team did it. And Andrew Flesher jumps on that one to make sure North Ridgeville now is going to get some really good starting position for their first drive of the second half.
Yeah, it's interesting. Elyria actually started their season week 1 against Princeton with an onside kick, and they got it, and they scored on the first play. So trying to get it again, but wasn't able to come up with it.
Of course, now it's been seen on film, so that's when you start the season against Princeton. I mean, that's a pretty tall order. 1st and 10, North Ridgeville. Watchorn takes a snap. Everyone's getting a touch this one. It's Steinmetz who ultimately takes the ball, try to go around the left side, and he is stacked up immediately and wrestled back. And that's B.J. Todd again, and that's at least the second tackle for a loss Todd has had today. Drops North Ridgeville back to the 41-yard line, so a loss of 3 on that one to start this drive. And B.J. Todd putting his name up there for player of the game honors already.
Yeah, this Elyria front has been very stout, going toe-to-toe with North Ridgeville all night.
So not a bad start here for the Elyria Pioneers, even though they took the risk with that onside kick. And now we get that first flag of the game. This play is going to be stopped, even though it's a completed pass off the left side, and Steinmetz is still rolling. I thought he blew the whistle. Well, they did. I thought he blew the whistle and stopped the play, but now they're letting him roll down, and that's Steinmetz taking the quick pass off the left side all the way inside the 10-yard line down to the 6. I believe the flag came out is either motion or lined up in the neutral zone, so I'm not even going to guess of who the penalty is on. And it is going to be a procedure call on North Ridgeville. So that play coming all the way back, instead of going for, I'm doing the math, 53 yards on a great pass play, it becomes our first penalty of the game. And they're going to bring it back and take another 5 yards further back on the North Ridgeville offense of where they're going to be starting. Flag came in from our near side. And immediately, I thought it came out, and I thought I heard a whistle that they were going to stop the play, that there was motion before the snap. But now we're getting some activity along the sideline. As one of the, Adrian Williams is 3 right there, coming off the field with no helmet on and not looking very happy as he's talking to his coaching staff. I'm not sure what happened there. Now the referees are congregating where the original line of scrimmage was. So he's indicating procedure on North Ridgeville. Now, did we have an unsportsmanlike down there at the end of that play, down by the 6-yard line? Did another flag come out? Sometimes it's hard to pick out these flags because, yeah, we're going to get a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct on Elyria. And so we're looking for an indication. So just an unsportsmanlike. And so original line of scrimmage, that play started at the North Ridgeville 41. And it was a 5-yard penalty on Elyria, but it looks like they're only applying the 15-yard penalty against the Pioneers. So a 5-yard penalty would have been on the Rangers. It would have pushed them back to the 36. But now they're putting it on the Elyria 46. So that really is only a 13.
Hard to figure, but all I know is after that clean first half, you had to go and jinx us.
Well, being a dead ball foul, and again, I'd have to go into the scorebook with it. I know it's not a 13-yard net result, but either way, it's first down for the Rangers as Watchorn takes the snap, hands it off left side to Barnhart, and he scrambles even a little bit farther out to the left and gets out to the numbers and close to another North Ridgeville first down. So that's our first 2 flags of the game.
Yeah, and one thing to pay attention to in this second half, North Ridgeville all season has tried to be a 2-platoon team. So different guys on offense, different guys on defense. We'll see how that may play here in the second half, trying to wear people out.
Ridgeville, another first down right to the line. Watchorn, talk about wearing people out. It's Barnhart just driving straight up the middle. And they don't take a lot of time off the play clock either when they're on Ridgeville offense, so that wears people out as well. And Barnhart this time takes it down to the 26-yard line for a gain of 8. So you went from losing 5 on the first play and then a potential penalty, and now everything's been flipped around by that unsportsmanlike, because it not only moved the Rangers into Elyria territory, but kind of puts the Pioneer defense on its heels as they get back-to-back plays, taking it down to the 26 where it's 2nd and 2. That's Steinmetz in motion. He takes the handoff from Watchorn as he goes around left side, still darting in and out and getting past the numbers and inside the I-90 Nissan red zone. And that's going to be another first down for the Rangers.
Yeah, you see the offensive line from North Ridgeville doing the job. Steinmetz, nice cut, able to get what he can. He keeps those legs churning. And again, that 2-headed monster, they both get carries. Neither one of them gets tired out because they have each other to spell.
Yeah, good point, because it's good blocking, and he's not dancing around back there, but he's reading his blocks and kind of taking his time darting through. And it's first down in the red zone for North Ridgeville. Watchorn handoff, Barnhart straight over to the left guard, bowls through another, got one guy on his knees, bangs into another Pioneer defender trying to bring him down and gets another 2 yards after that contact. We're down at the 11 now. It's a gain of 7. And Elyria is not liking the way things are going since that penalty, so Coach Fox is calling a timeout. 9:10 to go here in the third quarter. Still, North Ridgeville 7, Elyria 3, but the Rangers are driving, so stick around here on the Lorain County Sports Network.
051 651. 051 651. You can get those down at the athletic canopy.
You know, so many things go into Friday Night Lights. We talked about the bands at halftime. We got the cheerleaders out here. It's homecoming here in Elyria. They just announced the 50-50 and game ball winners. I mean, that's, you know, there's so much going on. It's just, this Friday night is just such a wonderful time. Where else would you want to be besides, I guess I'm at the 40, I'm about the 45-yard line, right? You know, I'm not quite midfield, but we got a pretty nice spot here in Elyria as North Ridgeville is trying to put some distance on the score difference here. They're marching in at their first drive of the second half. Snap by Watchorn. This time he hands it again, going around the left side. Steinmetz, and boy, Elyria is sussing out that play each and every time now. They kind of change things up. It worked early in the game, and Elyria defense, credit to them for making adjustments. And if anything, he lost a little bit of distance, but still down at the 11-yard line. So no gain on that one. Third down, and we're going to call it 3. Got to get inside the 9 to get a first down. Obviously, they might be looking at the end zone on this one. Watchorn takes the snap, hands off Barnhart, straight up the middle, muscles through. He's definitely got the first down, and he falls forward even further with some help from his teammates. Gets inside the 5-yard line where it's going to be first and goal for the Rangers with 8:36 to go. The clock stops briefly while the chains are moved.
Yeah, and Barnhart's so powerful just as a sophomore. He's the type of kid that even if you don't block perfect on the play, he's going to get you something with his strength.
Good point that he's only a sophomore. 5'10", 205 as a sophomore running back, and he's piling up the numbers here. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it again, and he does, right over the left guard. This time stood up and pushed back by that Elyria front line. That Elyria front line goes 285, 225, 210. So they're certainly have the ability. It's just a matter of finding that little gap is what Barnhart looks for. That time they stopped them. We're going to call a loss of 1 on that one as they put it back down at the 5. Still goal to goal. Second out. And Ridgeville pretty quick out of the huddle. Short time in the huddle. And Watchorn calling the snaps. Man goes in motion right before the snap, and the ball's handed off this time over the right side. And even less room to run on that one for the Ridgeville Rangers.
Yeah, great penetration by Elyria. We've got a timeout here by North Ridgeville.
I think that was B.J. Todd again, though, wrapping up by Todd. And I'm telling you, I know we always look for the guys with the big flashy numbers on the offensive side, but he's as much of a candidate for player of the game in this one so far as anyone, as he's made some really key plays. And crucial timeout by Coach Fox before that, because this drive has been kind of a roller coaster. You know, I mean, it's like riding the Maverick out at Cedar Point, right? Starts badly for North Ridgeville, then they get the penalty and start pounding on some yards and look like they're about to punch it in, and Elyria's defense stands up twice in a row for losses. And now it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 7. So Brian Morgan over on the North Ridgeville side decides to take his first time out. We're still at 7-3 here in the third quarter. This is the first drive of the third quarter, and North Ridgeville's had the ball the entire time.
Yeah, and this is a huge sequence for this Elyria defense. You don't want to go down 2 scores to North Ridgeville with the way your offense kind of operates. So if you can force a field goal or get a stop here, that's huge.
Right, this is a big play coming up. 3rd and goal from the 7. North Ridgeville coming out of a timeout. Steinmetz in motion again. This time Watchorn spins around, flips it to him, going off the left side, trying to kind of do the same thing they did on their first score, but this time the Elyria defense is up to the task and has good pursuit going around the left side. And guess who's skipping back to the huddle there is Adrian Williams. He was the one who was upset on that penalty last time, but he's out there making up for it. Is a gain of about 2 that time for North Ridgeville, but 4th down, and they're leaving the offense out there trying to punch it in. Probably a good risk. I mean, they obviously have a kicker who can make this, but if you don't make it, it puts the Elyria offense in a tough starting spot. So North Ridgeville going for it here. Handoff Barnhart straight up the middle. He's close to and he gets in. Signals from the far side. Line judge says touchdown North Ridgeville. Got the ball over the white line at Barnhart, and with 7:01 to go here in the third quarter, North Ridgeville has tacked on another 6 points and made the score Rangers 13, Pioneers 3 with the extra point still to come.
Yeah, and for North Ridgeville, they're almost a statement. Didn't try to get cute, didn't run a counter play, didn't run on the edge. They did what they did best. In between the tackles, they gave it to Barnhart, and he's able to punch it in.
Austin DeShazo is going to be doing the extra point duties here for North Ridgeville. He was, I think he was 14 of 16 on the season. He's now 15 out of 17 as he makes that one and makes the score 14-3 with 7:01 to go in the third quarter. Elyria gets their first drive of the second half finally right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. We're back here at Mercy Health Field at Ely Stadium in Elyria, Ohio. Happy to have you along here on the Lorain County Sports Network. I'm John Guzik, Mike Rush here. And we've got a good one as North Ridgeville now has put up their second score of the game and ready to kick off here, and squibbing it down the middle is picked up at about the 26-yard line and kind of skipping and hopping through the middle of the field to get what he can, and gets it out to the 35, which is where Elyria will start their first drive of the second half. And I tell you what, some of these numbers on here, this red on this black, is not the easiest to pick up. So I don't want to give credit where credit is not due, but I believe that was Levi Springer gathering up that return and putting it at the 35. 6:56 to go, third quarter. Elyria did a great job on their last drive back in the second quarter of moving the ball. Let's see if they can maintain that momentum as they come out with Stephen Gilbert's the quarterback, and he went back to Coach Fox on the sideline for some extra instruction. Kevin Jordan is actually next to him, and he was wondering, where's my partner? But Gilbert takes the snap and looking to throw on first down to open up this second half. And the ball is caught.
I think he caught it on his knee.
Yeah, that was why the quick whistle, right? So caught over on the right side. I believe that's Mayer making the catch. Mayer's been doing a lot of the throwing so far tonight. I believe that's the first completed pass by Gilbert tonight, right?
Correct, yeah, he's 1 for 2 now.
So we started that one at the 35. They're putting this one down at the 38, so that's a 3-yard pass play. And the clock is moving here at 6:35 to go, third quarter. Deep shotgun formation now for Gilbert. Takes it, hands off to Jordan straight up the middle, and not too much there. Maybe 2 yards as it gets it out to about the 40. That Ridgeville opening drive went almost 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Started at their own 44 after Elyria tried an onside kick to start the half. So 56-yard drive, 4 minutes and 58 seconds, capped off by a Barnhart 4-yard run. With the kick being good, it puts our score at 14-3 here, third quarter. So certainly a lot of time left, no do or die, especially the way the Elyria defense has already created a turnover out there. But a crucial series for the Elyria offense, I think.
Absolutely, trying to get a first down.
3rd and 5 here. Gilbert in the shotgun, takes the snap. Quick pass out on the right side is caught behind the line of scrimmage. But then snaking forward as much as he can. Going to be short of the first down, but puts you in that kind of decision-making territory as Baker gets out to about the 43-yard line. He's going to bring up 4th and 2 for the Pioneers.
Yeah, just trying to run that little tunnel screen. Looked like he had an alleyway, but great job, as we said, by that North Ridgeville defense. The pursuit, the speed, and they just play so hard. They get to the football there.
We're already down to just 5:11 to go here in this third quarter, and it's 8:24 Eastern time for those of you watching around the world on YouTube with our worldwide reach here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Twins receivers split right, but that's kind of a formation that Elyria's offense says, nope, we're going to talk this one over and use another. That's their second timeout already here in the second half. It's 14-3, North Ridgeville over Elyria. We'll be right back with more right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. All right, we're getting ready for a crucial 4th down play. Elyria has left their offense out there. They're at their own 43, so kind of a dangerous part of the field to be taking some chances. But it's going to be 4th and 2. The ball's got to hit the stripe of the 45-yard line to count for a first down. I'm John Guzik along with Mike Rush here, Edwin Vereen, and Andrew Bauman as part of the Lorain County Sports Network in Elyria. Shotgun snap comes to Gilbert. He's going to hand it off to Jordan, but before anything happens, whistles blow and a flag comes out from the referee spot. And Kevin Brown says that's illegal procedure, and that might be changing your decision-making over on the Elyria sideline, as it takes it from a 4th and 2 to a 4th and 7.
Yeah, not going to make Coach Fox happy, especially coming out of the timeout to have a penalty. Can change your decision or change your play call.
They're staying right out there. So now really 4th and 7. And here comes Mattis looking to blitz off the left side, and he starts early. Also some movement on the right side of the Ridgeville line, and flag comes out. And that's going to put the ball back where it started from. So taketh and giveth away with back-to-back penalties. And that's interesting. We had no penalties in the first half, and now the 2 instances where we've had penalties in the second half, there have been one after the other on each team.
Yeah, a little sloppy, but just comes down to focus and try not to make those mistakes.
Well, that's what you're talking about, focus. You want to take advantage of the other team making a mistake, not turn around and make your own mistake, but both teams have done that. All right, back to 4th and 2. Now it looks like maybe they're just trying to draw them off, but looking to the sideline for some extra help. They don't have a timeout to give, but obviously they could take a delay game, and now they're going to run the play. Gilbert hands it off to Jordan, and he gets about a yard, and he needed 2 as he is shoved back by the North Ridgeville defense, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. Bottom of the pile for the Ridgeville Rangers is Nate Borer. But there was a whole gang of white shirts right there as Jordan tried to take it right up the middle and was not to be successful. And they're going to turn the ball over not only on downs when North Ridgeville is going to start in Elyria territory with their second drive of the second half with 4:50 to go here in third quarter.
Yeah, big stop by North Ridgeville here, trying to kind of take control of this game here with their running game and their defense.
So they started the second half on their own 44 with the first drive, now on the Pioneer 44 with the second drive. Steinmetz in motion, but gets the pitch from Watchhorn and goes right side, not too much there before he's bumped out of bounds after a gain of about 3.
Yeah, first time we've seen that look, the option look here from North Ridgeville tonight, trying to get the ball out on the edge.
LaRon Anderson, the one pushing him out of bounds there at the 41-yard line. All right, 2nd and 7, North Ridgeville trying to put some distance in this game as the Elyria offense has not been able to muster much. And this is Barnhart going over left guard and then twisting, and he does a great job of taking contact and keeping his feet moving. He gets it over the 35. Going to be a little bit short of a first down, so we're going to bring up 3rd down as we've got another Elyria Pioneer down on the field injured. That's Zion Newsome, who that'll be a big loss if he can't say. He's the center of the Pioneer defense, anchoring things down at nose tackle, so hopefully he's just shaken up and not anything more than that. 4:04 to go, third quarter here in Elyria. Take a chance while we're out here. I misspoke last week because I said it would be fall by the time we did our next game, and I just looked at the calendar and said, oh, it's the 22nd, and fall, for whatever reason, isn't until the 23rd this year. I was showing my kids, I tutor on the afternoons at Horizon East Lorraine, showing that when the sunrise time in the AM matches the sunset time in the PM, that's how you know fall has started. So I was watching that throughout the week with them, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't happen actually in Lorain County till next week. It's vernal equinox at the equator, but it takes a little longer to get here. But shout out to our friends at Horizon Education Centers. They actually have 3 of them here in Elyria as well, and they're celebrating their 45th anniversary with the Smith family starting that and Dave Smith running it now. So 3rd down, North Ridgeville with the ball. Barnhart takes it over left tackle and easily gets the first down. Puts it down at about the 31-yard line.
Yeah, it's his 18th carry tonight, so he's definitely a workhorse for North Ridgeville.
Yeah, not like the 37 from last week that you mentioned, Elyria.
I don't think he'll get there tonight. You never know.
Well, for North Ridgeville, I don't think you really want them. That's not their offense. But it is first down here and marked down at the 31-yard line. Clock ticking now at 3:39 to go, third quarter. North Ridgeville a little more methodical coming out of the huddle with the lead now 11 points. And this is an inside handoff to Steinmetz coming back into the line and gets across the 30 to about the 28-yard line before he's brought down. I'm sorry, 28-yard line. It's called a gain of 3, brings up 2nd and 7 as North Ridgeville offense keeps on chugging along and the clock keeps moving down. 2-score lead does seem pretty large when you're struggling to score.
Yeah, the way both teams play too.
Pioneer defense or Pioneer offense has. Steinmetz in motion again right before the snap. Barnoff straight up the middle and had a nice hole. And going to get about 9 on that one. I'll take it to the 22-yard. Sorry, gain of 6, just short of the first down. You know, these in the dark when they're off the field, it's even harder to pick up some of the Pioneers numbers on the sideline. So I'm looking to see what happened to Newsom and see when he can get back in there if he can. The ball's dropped on the snap, and Elyria's defense is right in there trying to grab it. And I do believe it's picked up by LaRon Anderson, and we get to call his name a couple times on this drive. And he was just Johnny on the spot, because it's one thing to bobble the snap like they did back there, but Anderson was in the backfield so fast, North Ridgeville had no chance of getting that. A huge stop by the Pioneer defense right when they needed it.
Yeah, big stop, big turnover, 2nd of the game, and kind of gives them some life here as a late flag comes out. We'll see what this is. We'll get it sorted out, but
now I'm going to call a dead ball foul. Is that delay a game signal?
they're saying he threw the football.
Yeah,
he's throwing it to the ref, though.
So Coach Fox is ushering assistant coaches and players back to the sideline. If it's a dead ball foul, they should still be at a 1st and 10 to start the drive, but it will put the ball back to the 22-yard line. So still 1st and 10, but they started at 22 instead of the 27. A great play by the Elyria Pioneer defense with 2:25 to go, 3rd quarter. Here comes the offense trying to move the ball again. That's Gilbert back there, number 7. He's the quarterback. Next to him, Jordan's taking the majority of the carries today. He's looking for some indication from the sideline, and now finally the snap, and it's Gilbert rolling out right. He looked left at first. The first option wasn't there. Tries to get to some opening on the right side as he scrambled away and gets knocked down as he throws the ball. Kind of bounces in the middle. I'm not sure if he was just getting rid of it or if he really had any chance of muscling it all the way out to his intended receiver. Falls incomplete. Going to bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, tough just trying to run around, make a play, get rid of it, not take the sack there.
Well, he looked left, and we've seen that before. They have a quick play to the left side, and defense by North Ridgeville had it covered up, so he had to ad-lib on that play, and it didn't go well for Elyria, but they keep the ball here. 2nd down. Blitz showed by North Ridgeville, and this is Mayer running like for his life, getting away from it, and gets back almost to the line of scrimmage, but certainly the Ridgeville defense busted up whatever that play was intended to be by sending 2 guys from the left side of the defense, and made a huge scramble. Going to call it a loss of 1, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 11, and we're back to that same situation where you're behind the sticks on 3rd down, which is not where the Pioneer offense wants to be.
Definitely a broken play, busted play, and again, it's difficult when you're backed up. Not a lot of play calls for that.
Especially when some of the passing offenses can make that up a little bit quicker. So Jordan and Gilbert next to each other in the shotgun. Gilbert takes the snap, looking left, now throwing deep on the right side, and it's overthrown and almost intercepted out there as the North Ridgeville's Carter Clark had a better chance at that than anyone. Now that was a time where he looked left, kind of just trying to throw off the defense. That was clearly the called play from the huddle, but just no connection there. Brings up 4th and long and brings out the punt team for the Elyria Pioneers here. 1:28 to go, 3rd quarter. North Ridgeville up 14-3.
Yeah, disappointing that you couldn't take advantage of the turnover there and try to, get the positive momentum back on your side.
So now punt formation. This should be Tim Rader back there. High snap, but he brings it in, gets the kick away. Nice kick, beautiful punt. Well back into Ridgeville territory, taking it to 39-yard line. That's the same Carter Clark running it forward and getting it just over the midfield stripe is where North Ridgeville will start their next drive. 40-yard punt with about a 12-yard return. 1:17 to go, third quarter. North Ridgeville hanging on to this 14-3 lead. Just letting Elyria stick around long enough that if they can make some more plays, especially on defense, like they ended the last series with a fumble recovery. Now this is Steinmetz coming back on the right side, and again, they're bird dogging him as he's moving through. And that time for Elyria, it's Xavier Stevens who trails him down and pulls him from behind. And that's going to be a loss of 1 to start this drive back to the 50-yard line for North Ridgeville.
Yeah, they're definitely on that counter play. They haven't had much daylight, North Ridgeville here, since early on in the game.
Yeah, and it worked well early on in the game. Like I said, not only great adjustments by Elyria, but I think the issue with North Ridgeville, they're so used to running that with success that it's really an extra great job by the Pioneer defense. Here's a quick pass out to the left side.
The Elyria defensive back.
Yeah, I'm looking for numbers from across the field. So that's Caden Daniels, who was out there, as well as LaRon Anderson, who we've called his number a bunch of times already this second half.
Yeah, and that's not easy against a team that doesn't throw a lot either, to kind of stay ready.
Now North Ridgeville's in that 3rd and long from the midfield stripe. Watchorn rolls out right, looking right. He's got a receiver open on the right side. As he inbounds, he catch it. I think you just need that 1 foot down, and I think he got it. Right at the 29-yard line. Beautiful catch. Beautiful. Throw was right where it needed to be, and Austin Young brought that down. And now a flag. There's a flag on the field, but then the player picked it up and handed it back to the official. Did he drop it? Did it come out accidentally? Or is there a flag?
Looked like a clean catch.
Now the catch is clean, and I'm writing down where the play call was, and I look up, and the Pioneer defender is handing the official his flag, and you're going to get a sideline warning. There was a flag, so it's interesting that the player picked it up. Now, sideline warning should be a warning the first time, and I have not seen a flag come out earlier on that, so they're marking this off. So, again, some of the interpretations of what's happening here, I'm not sure why that one is penalized, but it takes it down inside the I-90 Nissan red zone for the North Ridgeville Rangers. They're inside the 15 now with that one. Catch was at the 29, so 21-yard pass, 15-yard penalty. Handoff Barnhart right up the middle, and he's going into the end zone straight through with 25 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter. North Ridgeville tacks on another 6 points, and that's going to make it tough for the Pioneers the way the offense has sputtered with points on the board tonight. 20-3, Rangers over the Pioneers as we get right to the near end of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, North Ridgeville just kind of imposing their will right now in this game, turning into that power run game, and it's kind of been their formula all year that they've ridden to success. Great defense and a good running game.
Extra point attempt coming for the Rangers. To Shazo. Nice easy swing and kick, and puts it right up and through. Makes the score 21-3. North Ridgeville over Elyria. It's homecoming night for the Pioneers. Not going too well right now. Let's see if they can come back. Stay tuned to the Lorain County Sports Network. A 52-second drive is all we had right there, because it didn't take long for the Rangers to move that one straight down the field for a touchdown. 2 big plays, and a 21-yard pass out to Young, and then a penalty I tacked that on, and Barnhart just running it right in from 14 and makes it North Ridgeville 21, a 49-yard drive for the Rangers. Kickoff coming. This one, the most legitimate kickoff we've seen all day from either team. Bounces and gets picked up just inside the 20. Nice return, gets outside the numbers and heads towards the Ridgeville sideline. And going to be a nice start for the Panthers on that one. And LaRon Anderson is the one getting some space out there. And I mean, plenty of time left. 18 seconds to go here in the third quarter. And Elyria is certainly capable of that big play.
Yeah, we haven't seen it, so much tonight, but they have those type of athletes, and they can, create an explosive play at any time.
Now we've seen Jordan actually, the closest they had to the biggest play, Jordan had busted through the line one time, and he just caught his shoe on a defender. Otherwise, he probably was going to the house on that one. And I need something like that to get back in this game. Here's a handoff up the middle. It's Jordan getting stacked up right at the line of scrimmage and then shoved backwards. So going to be no gain on that first one, and that's going to be probably the end of the third quarter here from Ely Stadium in Elyria, Ohio. Happy to have you along here on the Lorain County Sports Network. When we come back, it's the fourth quarter from Elyria with the Pioneers of Elyria trailing with the Ridgeville Rangers a 21-3 lead. We'll be right back on the Lorain County Sports Network. Rangers defense is running out there trying to catch up. The Elyria offense is set to go, and Gilbert looking right, scrambling a little bit to buy some time, and completes the pass to Anderson, who's getting dragged down and finally comes down around the 50. Player clearly had a hand between the shoulder pads below the helmet, which could be a horse collar, but no penalty shown on that one, but gets to midfield and becomes a first down for the Pioneers on the first play of this fourth quarter. 21-3 North Ridgeville. Elyria offense trying to get some points on the board. Gilbert in the shotgun. Shifts on the wing back, and now Gilbert rolling left with pressure. Unlaunches it off the left side and out of bounds as he was getting all kinds of heat on that one.
Gilbert threw it away. 7 down, 10.
Nate Bober from North Ridgeville is the one who forced that pass to get away much quicker than it needed to. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, tough deal there for Gilbert, rolling to his left, just trying to get his hips around. He had pressure.
Now we've got Mayer back there. He did all the throwing for the first part of the game. But recently, Gilbert's done. Anderson on a short pass, and he breaks through tackles, and he's got room down the sideline. One guy to beat. Skips past them and gets all the way into the end zone. Inbounds. Touchdown, Elyria Pioneers.
One of those big plays we were talking about, the big playability that they have. Able to finally break through with a big catch and run.
LaRon Anderson, cut down his name on the roster. It's Anderson Oliver, and we learned before the game, just going by Anderson. I said it makes it easier on the play-by-play guys, and happy to call his name on that one. That was our electric. He was just a quick screen pass out on the right side, and then he did all the work, not only beating a couple of tacklers within the first 10 to 15 yards. Then the guy tried to jump on his back right around the 12-yard line and was able to shirk away from that and get all the way to the end zone for the first score of the game for the Pioneers. First touchdown of the game for the Pioneers. Makes it 21-9 with 11:15 to go in this game. And they're going for 2 here. Snap directly to Kevin Jordan, and he's taking it up the middle, darting in, and I believe he's over the, and he is. 2-point conversion is good. Makes it a 10-point game here. It's now North Ridgeville 21, Elyria 11 with 11:15 to go in the game. And we'll have the ensuing kickoff coming up right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. talking about this Elyria team being able to come together at some point as they build into this first season under Coach Brian Fox. The defense has definitely held up their part of the bargain today with 2 huge turnovers. One an interception that led to the first score for Elyria, a field goal in the second quarter, and then a fumble to stop a big drive by North Ridgeville. And right now, Elyria just completed a 3-play, 60-yard drive, capped off by a 50-yard screen pass to LaRon Anderson. And with the 2-point conversion, it's a 63-second drive. We just had a 52-second scoring drive by Ridgeville. Elyria answers with a 63-second drive. And so here's another squib kick, this time on the left side, takes an extra bounce, and this is going to be picked up by the Elyria Pioneers. Skipping off the field for the Pioneers. Enjoy Andre Lucky. He has recovered a couple of Elyria kicks on the return side that North Ridgeville tried onside, and now Elyria tries it onside, and it's Lucky coming up with the ball again. And Elyria is going to get the ball right back here and starting in North Ridgeville territory at the 40-yard line. Wow.
Yeah,
what
kind of
huge.
have a new ball game here. Finally able to connect on the onside, and 2-score game here.
Wow, and the momentum shift has been dramatic, obviously. We've got Mayer back out there at quarterback as well with Jordan. Single setback off to his left side. Got twin receivers right. Another receiver split left. Looking for that receiver on the left side and tossing it up is Mayer. And he's got a guy out there. This ball's incomplete. There's a flag comes out, but it's offensive pass interference anyway, as the intended receiver shoved it off with basically both hands before the ball got there. So now do you take that penalty or do you take the play if you're the Ridgeville Rangers making this decision?
Yeah, tough decision there. Tough break for Elyria. We'll see what Coach Morgan decides.
Had pretty good coverage out there. So putting his hands out to get some distance and some space was not totally, unusual, but Ridgeville's going to take the penalty. So leave it first down, but make it first and should be 20. They're going to keep walking. So it's a 15-yarder. Offensive pass interference, 15 yards back for North Ridgeville. So that makes it a little easier to make that decision when you're getting 15 in this instant.
Let's see, Elyria back in this stacked receiver look. Last time they threw a quick screen.
And this time they're looking for that screen. It's not there, and then double pumps and finally throws it over the intended receiver's head and out of bounds because it was really blown up not only by the cornerbacks. You had a cornerback, a linebacker, and a defensive end that were all helping to blow up that play, and there's some words after the play's over, and I believe we might be getting a unsportsmanlike for the second time on the Pioneers, and if that's the case, you're going to totally flip exactly what you didn't want out of the results of that onside squib kick. Now let's see what the officials are discussing. Pioneer players walk to the numbers on the sideline and talk to their coach, but now coming back to the middle. So dead ball, personal foul. This one's on North Ridgeville. Oh, we've got two of them. We only have one flag out there, but we're getting basically that's the warning sign in football. It says, guys, knock it off. But
yeah, got to keep your composure here. Emotions run high, but you can't let the emotion get the best of you here.
Both of them after the whistle, so play counts. Ball stays at the 45, where it's 2nd and 25 for the Pioneers. Twin receivers split right with a single receiver split on the left and a wing and a slot on the right side. Jordan in the backfield with Mayer, who's kind of taken over this drive as the featured quarterback. Takes the shotgun snap, rolling right, now gets pressure and sacked, and sprinting in there to blow up that play for the North Ridgeville Rangers is Nick Bober. And I tell you what, I didn't have Nick's name come out in the first half, but he has been just all over the field in the second half on the Rangers defense, and that's a loss back to the 37, so that's an 8-yard sack for the North Ridgeville defense, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 33. So
yeah, definitely not the situation you want to be in.
You went from having all the momentum after a touchdown and getting the squib kick, and now you're in 3rd and 33. Twin receiver stacked to the right, and now that's going to be a jump. Looked like it was white jerseys. We'll have to see if anyone moved on the Pioneer side of the ball, but they're going to mark that one off, I believe, against the Rangers, and that makes it a much more reasonable 3rd and 28, right?
Yeah, that changes everything.
I think it's safe to say you can go with the same play call. All right, so the ball's placed at the Pioneer 42. Long way to go. Got to get all the way to the Ranger 30. 10:05 in this game. It's still a 2-score game, so the fact that they might not be trying to get all 28 on this and go with it on 4th down is a certain possibility. Mayer looking right, throwing right. He's got Anderson. Jumps up. Ball hits him, but then incomplete. Just over the 50-yard line. That changes what your options might be on 4th down when you end up still having 28 to go. So the punt team's going to come on for the Pioneers and give it back to the Rangers, who haven't had it this quarter yet because of that squib kick that was recovered by Lucky and the Pioneers. But they go nothing but backwards. So on this drive, it's going to end up being a negative 18 yards. So here comes snap, very high snap, and corrals it in. Not much pressure from the Ranger. They had the return set up, so it gets the kick away, gets to the bounce all the way inside to 30. Clark thinking about picking it up, but makes the wiser decision most certainly, and lets it roll to a stop at the 29 with 9:40 to go in this 4th quarter. That's where North Ridgeville will start their first drive of this quarter, trying to see if they can ice this game away. Still with a two-score lead, 21-11. Ridgeville over Elyria in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you know, ball security is being stressed right now in that North Ridgeville huddle. You expect them to take the play clock down now, kind of with this time and score situation in the 4th quarter.
Boy, it's been a very entertaining game, no doubt, which we've had that week in and week out here on the Lorain County Sports Network, and grateful for all these players and teams that have made that happen. And gonna get a timeout on the field as we're getting ready to start this drive. So we'll take a quick timeout and be right back here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Elyria Pioneer Band not only playing but dancing very actively in the south end zone behind the North Ridgeville team, who's ready for their first snap of the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 from the 29. Handoff to the motion man going around the right side. Had some room, but then ran up the back of his blocker. Not going to get too much on that one. It's Ennis. It's only his first carry of the game, right?
Correct.
Ennis, the carry on that one. Gets himself about 5. They'll mark it down at the 34-yard line. Brings up 2nd and 5. More importantly for the Rangers, clock's moving. 9:15 to go in this game with a 10-point lead. That makes a big difference. Keep that clock moving. This is Ennis in motion again. This time is going to be a throw, and this is going for a score. I tell you what, they're going to try to track down Steinmetz, but he had so much room when he caught the ball from anybody that he takes it straight to the house. A 66-yard pass play, quick slant off the line of scrimmage to the wing back, and got behind the linebackers. The defensive backs were split, and it was just to the house for Charlie Steinmetz. Wow, that was a big play for the Rangers offense, and makes it 27-11 now with 8:59 to go in the game.
Yeah, there's that pop pass. We hadn't seen it all night, but it's a staple of the North Ridgeville offense where they kind of lull you to sleep. They do the play action pop over the middle.
Extra point by DeShazo is up and through. So that makes our score North Ridgeville 28, Elyria 11. 8:59 to go in this one. Plenty of things still can happen. We're having nothing but about 60-second drive, so don't go anywhere. Stick around for at least the next 60 seconds on the Lorain County Sports Network. North Ridgeville took the opening kick of this half and took 5 minutes off the clock and punched it in for a Barnhart touchdown to go up 14-3. Our next three scores, North Ridgeville was a 52-second drive. Elyria answered with a 63-second drive. Now we just had a two-play, 41-second drive. 71 yards total, 66-yard pop pass to Charlie Steinmetz from Watchorn for the TD. And 28-11 is the lead as North Ridgeville kicks off and ball taken at about the 14-yard line. And here's LaRon Anderson run out of bounds just shy of the 40, so nice return by him.
Henderson Oliver on the return.
It's a little over 20 yards on the return. They're going to mark him out at the 37, and that's where Elyria is going to start their next drive of this half. 8:53 on the clock. It's the fourth quarter here from Ely Stadium. It's not even 9 o'clock, and we're already well into the fourth quarter. Lots of rushing attempts, keeps the clock moving here, and that works to Elyria's disadvantage. Now they move the ball out to the 39. So I'll change my marking on my drive chart to 39. All that extra work I had to do there.
Yeah, so many momentum.
Now they moved it back to the 38. So let's make another change there.
A lot of changes in this second half.
If I give you the wrong down distance on this drive, I hold the officials accountable. All right, looking to pass on the first play. Plenty of time this time, but nobody's open. Finally tosses it out over the head of the LaRon Anderson, the nearest receiver out there. Bounces before Clark can get anywhere near it, or near enough to it at least. He definitely got near it. He's been all over the field this second half. He's been bringing pressure on the defense, on the pass rush as well, but that time they let people drop back on the North Ridgeville defense, and it causes a incomplete pass. Clock stopped here with 8:46 to go.
Yeah, and if you're Elyria, you're going to have to, keep the ball in the air here, try to make some plays.
All right, this time it's a snap to Gilbert, isn't it, quarterback, and he gets a few yards off to the right side and gets it across the 40 to about the 43, so a gain of 5. Now, both teams do a good job of not spending a whole lot of time in the huddle, so not really a hurry-up offense, but obviously Elyria gets the call from the sideline. They're at the line of scrimmage basically right now. As Gilbert jogs into his quarterback position, Jordan's still the one running back to his right. Takes the snap, looking to throw again on this one. Pumps once, now scrambling out to the left side, chased by a couple of Ridgeville jerseys, but unfortunately, I know he hasn't played a whole lot of quarterback snaps this season. And that's one of those things with some experience, you got to learn to throw that one away and not take the sack. As he got run out of bounds, in pursuit was Tyler Paragord and Nate Bober.
Yeah, tough decision there. Losing yardage, as you said, you got to try to throw it away.
Yeah, he's going to take the ball back to the 35-yard line, so it goes down as a sack of 8 yards. And I think it was Bober that was closest to him that might get credit for the sack on that one, but now it's 4th and 13 for Elyria. This is Mayer in there for the quarterbacks. He takes the snap, shotgun, gets it out on the left side. It's hit and bobbled, and I did not have possession when he went out of bounds as he got knocked off the field, and I believe
Forced out of bounds by Carter Clark.
I'm not sure who the Ranger was. He got on the far sideline. I'm not sure who got in there, but great defense by hitting the receiver as soon as he tried to catch the ball and didn't have possession of it when he landed out of bounds. So North Ridgeville gets the ball back on downs, and that is one of those things that might be the part that's the toughest to overcome for Elyria to have a chance to get back in this one, as North Ridgeville is now going to start at the Elyria 35 with exactly 8 minutes to go in this game and a 28-11 lead. Watchorn, the quarterback, takes the snap, hands off on the counter, back around to Steinmetz, and he just scored a touchdown, and he gets another first down on this carry. Scored the touchdown on the pop pass. This time he takes it around the right side on a counter sweep, and they're going to put this one down at the 23-yard line. So a gain of 12 for Steinmetz on that one. 1st and 10, North Ridgeville. Clock running again here at 7:44 after the chains were reset. The chain gang says second down up there, so I'm going to change that one. But Watchorn back in the shotgun formation. Hands off Barnhart right up the middle. He's got some running room and creates some more as he gets inside the I-90 Nissan red zone, taking it down close to the 10.
Yeah, and if you're North Ridgeville, you've got the game in hand. Your offensive line is, really just digging in right now, and this is how you're built to win here.
Mark it at the 11, 1st and 10 again for North Ridgeville, so a 12-yard gain for Barnhart on that first down run. And this would definitely be the nail in the coffin if they can keep this going. And Barnhart's inside the 5 now, down to about the 3-yard line, maybe the 2. He just muscles his way on every play, right? I mean, the hard part about a guy like that is how do you keep him fresh for 10, maybe 12, 14 weeks of football when he runs that hard every Friday night. But he's piling up the numbers now. They're going to mark it at the 3, so a gain of 8. Brings up 2nd and 2. North Ridgeville can get a first down without scoring. 6:45 left in this one. 28-11 North Ridgeville. It's a nice lead, but this would definitely come into the insurmountable part if they put this one in the end zone. Barnhart up the middle, and he just walks right in. That's a 6-pointer for the Ridgeville Rangers, and the 3rd time to the end zone for Barnhart today. Makes it 34-11, and remind people that with that score, our friends at I-90 Nissan will make another contribution to the United Way of Greater Lorain County.
Are you kidding me?
Kind of, like you said, kind of ice in the game there for North Ridgeville. Elyria kind of gave it their best shot, and like a good team, North Ridgeville answered.
Shazo for his 5th extra point of the game. He's only missed 2 all year in 6 weeks, and he's got 5 for 5 tonight, and puts North Ridgeville out now to a lead of 35-11 on Elyria's homecoming night. The Pioneers are coming up on the short end of this one. But we'll see if they can create any more excitement for us in the last 6 minutes and 33 seconds. We'll be right back with that next kickoff here on the Lorain County Sports Network. We've got a score of North Ridgeville 35, Elyria 11. Looking at some other scores, Avon Lake is still up by a touchdown on Amherst. That's their homecoming night as well. 20-13 is that one. Avon is now all over Olmsted Falls. Game was tight early. Here's the kickoff coming from North Ridgeville, and that's the deepest kickoff we've had all day. Taken inside the 10 by Anderson. It gets out to the 30, skipping backwards, trying to make something extra happen, and does force forward for about another 5 yards after all that contact and pursuit. Again, another nice starting position for Elyria, and a good return by Anderson, getting well over 20 yards of return when they kick the ball away to him. I think we might have an injured Pioneer down on the field right at the end of that play in front of the bench. Ball's going to be placed at the 35 for Elyria. We got 6:22 left in this one, and that is Anderson. That was slow getting up, but he is up and gets to his sideline. So 1st and 10 Pioneers, trying to come up with that electrifying play of the game. They've had a few of them, without question. The interesting thing about the North Ridgeville offense, I know they're going with we've had a penalty on that one as well. This one's on North Ridgeville, so they're moving the ball out to the 50. I'm sorry, I did not see the penalty marker on it. Did you see something, Mike?
No, I did not. The injury kind of had all of our attention there.
Yeah, because when the play ended, I don't know if there was some extra activity afterwards, because as soon as the play was over and Anderson was down, the coaches, players coming on the field were all there. But midfield and stripe is where Elyria starts. They need as much help as they can get. Here's the shotgun snap, and going straight forward is Kevin Jordan. Haven't seen that in a while. Gets about 4 on the first play of this drive. But for Elyria, they're fighting the clock as well. Down to 6:10 to go in this one. And they've got 24 points to make up. That's going to take at least 3 scores and 3 2-point conversions. Doing the quick math there, not bad for Friday night, huh? 5-yard gain for Jordan on first down. He takes a direct snap again, goes straight up the middle and gets another 5, 6, now 7. Gets to be a first down for the Pioneers. So that'll stop the clock and move it down to the 37-yard line, a gain of 8 for Jordan. So they're moving the ball. Clock will stop briefly. We've had a bunch of short drives in this half.
Jordan keeps fighting for every yard.
Here's Jordan again, taking the snap, getting over to the 35-yard line, down to about the 33. Gain of 4. That last drive by North Ridgeville was their longest scoring drive of the in a while. Is that one went a whole minute and 28 seconds to go 35 yards, capped off by the Barnhart 3-yard touchdown run. For Barnhart has 3 touchdowns. Steinmetz has 2 touchdowns. DeShazo has 5 extra points. Here's a snap. This time it's Anderson back there in the Wildcat, and he takes the snap and goes over the right side out by the numbers. Gets out close to the 30 before he's wrapped up and pushed backwards by the Ranger defense. Hemzoff and Wahi is one of the guys in there. Also Austin DeShazo. And on the tackle, ball's put down to 30. Got another pie. That's Anderson down again. That's last 2 times he's carried the ball. He's not made it back up before needing some help. And a timeout. Stop the clock here with 4:49 to go in the game. And he's up and limping off to the sideline, so I'm not sure where he's getting beat up at, but he's certainly put in an effort tonight by the Pioneers, that's for sure. The kids giving them everything they can get for the guys in the black jerseys. Ball's at the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 3. We're all 4 down territory at this point in the game for the Pioneers, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to kind of use this tempo run game to get down the field, get a score, and see if you can get it back.
Because credit to the North Ridgeville defense in general, but their defensive backs have made some really, the coverage has been excellent. We saw the last drive, the pass out to the right, which was a nice pass and catch, but the cornerback was there to blow the pass up before it could be a completed pass. Push him out of bounds and bobble it. Here's an inside handoff, but then it's dropped. Gilbert picks it back up. Flag comes in. Gilbert's going backwards. Goes all the way back to the 43 on that one. So a loss of 13, but we're going to see what the penalty is. Came in from the referee. A lot of times coming in from the back on that. Oh, it wasn't a flag. That was his marker for the
marker, yeah.
For the that's an awful big marker then.
We all saw it.
Yeah, right? It's like markers are usually like, oh, you drop them. So 42-yard line is where they're at, and it is now back to 4th down and long. 4th and 15 for the Pioneers. 4 minutes to go in the game. Shotgun snap to Mayer. He's looking to throw. He's got time. He's lofting it down the middle, and it's going to be picked off right about the 28-yard line. And that is by Nate Bover, who has just been all over the field all the entire second half. The ball, wherever the ball's been, Nate's been able to find it. Just a great second half by him. Capped off with a interception. Takes it out to I'm putting this one down at the 47, so that's going to be a 19-yard return. And with 3:49, North Ridgeville's offense going to look to just roll the clock out on this one. 35-11, the Rangers have the lead. It's homecoming night in Elyria. Brendan Watchorn has done exactly what Coach Brian Morgan would want him to do coming in as first start of the year as quarterback. This is a handoff and going off on the right side. I think we're going to see some additional numbers we haven't seen. That's Joey Wilson getting his first carry of the game and taking it into Elyria Pioneer territory to the 49. Going to be a gain of 3, brings up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and interesting about Watchorn, he was, as we said, the starter last year. What a interesting luxury that Coach Morgan has. He actually was a little injured during the summer from baseball, and that kind of hurt his opportunity to compete. And but here he is, week 6, leading North Ridgeville once again.
Yeah, doing exactly what he needs, being the leader, keeping things calm. This is a handoff up the middle, and struggling to get a couple of yards. Not much more than that. That's going to be Wilson again. Gets it out to the 47. Only 2, but more importantly, it's going to take another 40 seconds off the clock or more. We're down to 2:50 to go in this game, and that's what Ridgeville's trying to do, is run the clock out. We did talk to Cole Miller. They started starting quarterback for the first 5 games this year for North Ridgeville, and he is adamant that he will be back this year. And you're definitely looking at a team that comes in tonight as number 3 in their region, so the playoff possibilities are very high for the Rangers. Here's a handoff going off the left side. This is Wilson again. As he gets past the hash marks, he cuts it back in and gets a first down to about the 35-yard line. So a nice gain of 12 by Wilson on that one. This clock stops briefly, but another set of downs for North Ridgeville is going to take it might be the end for this game, as we're down to 2:15 to go, and we're going to be under 2 minutes before this ball is snapped. And Miller, so it's a broken foot, but he says it's a very small fracture. So 4 weeks, which would be very short for a broken bone, would have him back in week 9. So maybe week 10. Certainly the possibility of there being a week 11 or even more for the Rangers is a very real possibility the way this team's playing. So he's trying to get back. Handoff now again. Wilson again. Right side. He's got a whole lot of running room on this time. Gets another first down to about the 20-yard line. He's loving packing up the numbers here tonight.
Yeah, good to see some of these other guys that practice hard all week and get in here at the end of the game and get their touches.
I had Wilson for 4 carries this year on the stats we were given. He just had 4 carries in a row, and he gained 32 yards. The ball's at the 20, another first down. So breakout performance for Joey Wilson here in the 4th quarter. Trying to put the game away with 80 seconds to go in this one. North Ridgeville 35, Elyria 11. We're going to wrap up the game in our post-game show, so stick around for that. We'll have stats, and we got to name our player of the game. And tell you what, made it an interesting one. So as we're winding down, the math has been figured out for the Rangers. They can just take a knee now and not have to worry about whether they got a first down on this set of downs. So we're just under a minute. They'll have to do another kneel down. Technically a 3-yard loss on that one, but they're not going to mind the stats for Watchorn. The bottom line is the guy who started 11 games last year and has been asked to jump in and keep the ship going for the Rangers on an incredibly successful season is able to do that tonight. They did have that one loss. It allows me to mention that I believe it was 1980 where Vince Piccolomini was the quarterback for the North Ridgeville Rangers in their one and only undefeated football season. Just happens to be my brother-in-law.
Oh, there you go.
I know that one by heart.
I was wondering how you knew that.
Got to get that reference in there. So not going to be undefeated this year, but North Ridgeville's having a heck of a season, and they just polished off the Elyria Pioneers by a score of 35-11 here on week 6 of this 2023 campaign. And lots more coming for North Ridgeville. We'll talk about what's up next for them, what's up next for us, and recap this game during the Achieve Credit Union postgame show. If you stay tuned, we'll be back in a minute here on the Lorain County Sports Network. The traditions of Friday Night Lights. You know, it's homecoming here in Elyria. The band playing in their son, and that's the North Ridgeville band playing to their team on the far side as they come away with a victory on the ruin the Pioneers homecoming night. Final score here from Ely Stadium: North Ridgeville 35, Elyria 11. You got a score update up at homecoming in Avon Lake. Now it's tied at 20. They're just starting the fourth quarter up in Avon Lake as the Shoremen are taking on Amherst. And Amherst, of course, has been a huge improvement this season. North Ridgeville has been one of those teams that just since Coach Morgan has taken it over, you kind of just seen year to year the progress of this team and where they're at right now, even compared to how well their season started last year, has to have a lot of excitement going on in North Ridgeville as they now move to 5-1 on the year, 2-1 in the conference. And next for the North Ridgeville Rangers they'll be on the road for the rest of the month almost, as they go to Midview next week, then have to take on Berea Mid-Park. That's also on the road. Then they go up and take on Avon Lake and end the season with Amherst, and we will be at that game when Amherst plays at North Ridgeville to wrap up the game and make up these schedules well in advance. And our vaunted sports director, esteemed sports director Don Vincent, puts together these schedules, and you kind of never know what you're going to get. But now Amherst North Ridgeville for week 10 looks like a gem that we're going to have here on the Lorain County Sports Network. So we're definitely looking forward to that as the Elyria Pioneer Band comes percussioning their way in front of our broadcast booth, wrapping things up here from Elyria. I tell you, the game started very slowly when it came to scoring-wise, as we ended up the first quarter scoreless. And actually, the first score of the game came on a dramatic interception by Xavier Church, and took that ball back 59 yards. But unfortunately, the Pioneer offense couldn't do anything with it after that. But the interception return had left them in enough position to pick a 32-yard field goal by Rader, which gave Elyria their early and only lead of the game, 3-0. North Ridgeville did answer before the quarter ended with a 34-yard drive of their own that ended up with a 5-yard run by Steinmetz, and we went to halftime with North Ridgeville up 7-3, and talking about how the Elyria defense had been averaging, giving up 38 points a game, and how well they had done to keep North Ridgeville off the board. But North Ridgeville was sitting there busy at halftime saying, guys, we got to do what we normally do here, and they just came out with 4 big scoring drives in the second half, split them evenly between Barnhart and Steinmetz. Started the second half, first drive of the game, went 66 yards, capped off by a Barnhart 4-yard run. That made it 14-3, and North Ridgeville wasn't really going to look backwards after that. They had a 52-second drive late in the third quarter, also capped off by Barnhart. That was a 14-yard run, so he ended the third quarter with North Ridgeville leading 21-3. Elyria started the fourth quarter with a quick drive of their own, in 63 seconds, capped off by a 50-yard screen pass that Anderson took to the house, and the 2-point conversion followed by Jordan. And we had a good game there starting the fourth quarter as Elyria had closed down to a 21-11 game, but North Ridgeville took over from there and wore the Pioneers down. Had a couple of another quick drive was a 41-second drive as a pop pass to Steinmetz went for 66 yards, and that went to the house. And then later in the quarter, North Ridgeville takes the ball another 35 yards after a tough, chancy 4th down and 28 play that failed by Elyria, so gave North Ridgeville great field position, and they took advantage of that to polish off the Pioneers tonight with the final score of the game that made it 35-11 and moves them well in position. I mean, you have the loss to Avon, but Avon still has got to take on some mighty fellows out there, including they end the season against Avon Lake. So you still have the Southwestern Conference title in play for the North Ridgeville Rangers. But most importantly, they came into the game number 3 in their region in the computer points, which are now coming out and be updated each week. So they obviously did not lose any ground tonight, putting up a big win against a D1 opponent. Fortunately for the Pioneers, they have yet to win a game yet this year, but, and we alluded to in the beginning of the game, one win game could extend your season by another game. And so they've got a lot of reasons to come back and keep fighting, as Elyria will be traveling to Avon Lake next week. And then they finish the season against Amherst, Midview, and Berea Mid-Park. So the Pioneers are going to be looking for a win out of that. And I definitely think we saw the Pioneer program, compared to what happened the first 5 weeks, move forward this week, even though there was some roster deletions on the Pioneers that maybe some people are starting to pay a little more attention to Coach Fox's philosophy and discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Coach Fox is bringing in his system, his culture. He's not going to, cut any corners, and he's going to do it, his way. And he's holding kids accountable. And I think you saw their fight tonight in the first half especially, very similar to last week. But, trying to put together a complete game is what they're after. And, I know they'll continue to get better under Coach Fox.
We have some accolades to give at the end of every game. And I'll tell you what, this is a well-played game and a lot of good defensive plays on both sides. And one of the ones we always want to come up with is the collision of the game, which is brought to you by Ernie's Auto Body. Ernie's Auto Body, where wrecked cars are made new. And in the middle of the third quarter, with about a little over 2 minutes to go in the quarter, North Ridgeville had the ball and was driving. They bobbled the snap, and it was LaRon Anderson who made the collision with the ground as he dove in underneath the legs of the North Ridgeville offensive players to grab that ball. Big stop for the Elyria defense, and he gets our collision of the game. And we also have our electric play of the game, and that's brought to you by Honey Dudes Handyman. If you got things to do, call the dudes. And we waited a while for electric play. We had a great electric play early in the fourth quarter when LaRon Anderson, that same guy, took a 50-yard screen pass. But tossing in between them, you kind of go on the realm of the guys who ended up winning the game. And with 9:40 to go in this one, North Ridgeville took over at their own 34-yard line. And after a 5-yard run, Brendan Watchorn dropped back about a step and hit a pop pass to Charlie Steinmetz on the right side. And he had gotten past the linebackers and split the defensive backs and went 66 yards straight down the middle of the field to the house, not only for a 28-11 lead for the North Ridgeville Rangers, but enough to be our electric play of the game. We'll be back with a couple other awards and our stat roundup, and to take a quick break and wrap things up here on the Lorain County Sports Network. It was a very fun night here in Elyria. I mean, not if you're a Pioneer fan, not as exciting, but just enjoying a good game and to see this Ranger team that's really, come to its fruition. And again, I'm kind of excited knowing that we got them again on week 10 and knowing where they might be at that point of the season. That's going to be a good one because Amherst has given Avon Lake everything they can handle tonight. And don't forget, as we're wrapping up pretty early here for Friday Night Lights, we've got games on WDLW. And that's coming you to from Bay as the Rockets are there in their homecoming night taking on Elyria Catholic. Clearview is having their way with Wellington. That game's on WOBL. And we definitely invite you to listen to either of our radio station partners after the game because they will have Dave Rivera in studio giving you the most complete and thorough wrap-up of all Lorain County football action from this Friday night. So make sure you tune in there. We, here on the Lorain County Sports Network, will be returning to Oberlin College next week. No, we haven't advanced to the next level of play, but it's where the Oberlin High School Phoenix play their home games now on Friday nights. And want to remind you that it is a 7:30 start next week as the Oberlin Phoenix will be hosting the Black River Pirates in a Lorain County 8 showdown. Lorain County League is, that Columbia team is certainly at the top of things, but some very competitive games going on tonight and a lot still to be decided on that one. And Black River right up there with the rest of them trying to finish their season strong as we already are going to be heading to week 7. So please join us. But again, a reminder, we'll be on the stream at 7 o'clock next week with kickoff at 7:30 from Oberlin. Here tonight in Elyria, it was North Ridgeville 35, Elyria 11. And we went to halftime with North Ridgeville just having a 7-3 lead. They come out, take the opening kickoff, Elyria tries a squib kick, kind of onside kick, and North Ridgeville recovers it quickly at their 44-yard line. And they go 56 yards for a touchdown, capped off by a Barnhart 4-yard run, and with the extra point being good by DeShazo, made it 14-3. It pretty much put the game away at that point because they had outscored Elyria. Obviously, we see the final score now. We knew that that was a safe enough margin, but more importantly, had taken off almost 5 minutes on that drive, and that becomes our Valley Chevrolet of Wellington drive of the game. Valley Chevrolet of Wellington, keep on driving with Valley Chevrolet. And our friend Alden Januzzi, CPA, where it's all about the numbers for him. They accuse me of that when I'm doing my math tutoring in the afternoon. I make everything about the math, so I learned that from Al, because we've been hanging around for about 50 years together. So we appreciate his sponsorship, and we appreciate my partner Mike Rush giving us a rundown of the key stats from today's game.
Yeah, just a few individual stats, starting with North Ridgeville. Quarterback Brendan Watchorn, again, filling in and kind of stepping up this season, or tonight, I should say. He did exactly what his team needed him to do. He's 5 for 8, 114 yards. He managed the game, and he led his team. Running the ball, Zach Barnhart. He's only a sophomore, but he's built like a man. He's 6 foot 200. He carried the ball 23 times tonight for 142 yards, as well as 3 touchdowns. His running mate in the skill position, Mr. Steinmetz, he carried the ball 17 times for 78 yards. He also had 2 catches for 76 yards, including the big pop pass touchdown that we alluded to earlier. And Young had 3 catches for 38 yards. For Elyria, who goes to 0-6. Passing the ball tonight, Gilbert ends up 3 for 9 for 16 yards. The big workhorse in the backfield, Kevin Jordan, carried the ball 23 times for 86 yards. He fought for every yard, down to the end. And Anderson, 2 catches, 60 yards, and the big touchdown. Some of the numbers here tonight.
Well, you make a good point when you talk about the Elyria Pioneers statistically, because they really did fight the whole time, and that's something to get to this point of the year. And probably the biggest thing that was lacking was the quarterback play, because they did change quarterbacks in the midseason, which is can be difficult to do, and adjusting to that. So I think what we saw tonight was, again, really maybe the start of what Coach Fox said at the beginning before the game. Year 0 is kind of transitioning at least into year 0.5 or whatever you want to call it, because Pioneer team tonight and what they presented was definitely very different than what we've seen from the first 5 games of the year, and then definitely a different result score-wise. As I said, we went into halftime with them down just by 4 points, but the Rangers do pull away. And you also made a good point in talking about the Rangers offenses, because one of the things we always like to do before we wrap up here is take a quick look at our Golden Helmet watch list, which is also brought to you throughout Lorain County and supported by the WOBL WDLW Sports Department and our friends at Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford. As we look at this Golden Helmet watch list, there's not a lot of candidates on the North Ridgeville team, because you don't realize, watching them play out there, that they only start 3 seniors on the offensive side of the ball, and that's Reisner on the line and Young and Palsy out on the wide receiver spots. So as much as we had a excellent night by Watchorn, he's a junior. Barnhart, sophomore. Charlie Steinmetz, junior. The rest of the offensive line, juniors. So forget about talking about what's the potential for this Ranger team this year. And as they build this program, this is already a team that you got to slot in for the top of the Southwestern Conference in the next season, as Coach Brian Morgan has really done just marvelous things to really, frankly, rebuild a program that was kind of stuttering a little bit before he took over. And they have done exactly that and put themselves in great position to wrap up the season. As we get ready to wrap up this game, maybe for some people, the most important part of the game, but we have a Zabel Apparel Company Player of the Game. Zabel Apparel tells you to be game ready all year. So, Mike, I'll let you do the honors. Who are we recognizing this week?
Yeah, a couple good candidates tonight, but we're going to go with Zach Barnhart, the sophomore tailback, again, 6 foot, 200 pounds. He runs so hard. He actually seeks contact out. I'm sure his coaching staff would like to see him avoid contact a little bit more, but when you've got a build like that, Zach's our player of the game. He had 23 carries for 142 yards, 3 touchdowns, and again, you talked about the playoffs. That's a kid that you can you can use when it's November, the weather turns a little bit. He's a guy that can really, tote the football for those guys and keep them in any game with that defense as well. So he's our player of the game tonight.
So Zach Barnhart was number 36 out there on your YouTube stream. He's a 5'10 sophomore. Gets to be the Zabel Apparel player of the game and is now well over 500 yards total rushing offense for the year. Charlie Steinmetz also had a great game and found the end zone a couple times. When you talk about Barnhart, a lot of his runs were just straight up the middle. And Mitch Wagaman is the center on this team. He's a junior as well, underclassman, but anchoring the center of this line. And you saw Barnhart just go right off his left or right hip so many times today successfully. Also want to point out Nate Bober had a great game on the defensive side of the field. Austin DeShazo was in the middle of the North Ridgeville defense, but was also 5 of 5 on extra points. So Carter Clark was all over the field from a defensive back standpoint as well. So like you said, a lot of great candidates tonight, but we only get to name one, and happy to say that Zach Barnhart definitely earned it as much as anyone else and helps the North Ridgeville Rangers move to 5-1 on the year. Wow, 5-1, 2-1 in the conference, and they are going to Midview next week. Elyria will be going to Avon Lake, and we will be going to Oberlin College, and invite you to join us for a Lorain County League game next week from Oberlin here on the Lorain County Sports Network. And tonight, before we sign off, remind you, post-game coverage and even end-of-game coverages of the other games, as our game ended a little quicker than the average game. So on WOBL, WDLW, you can catch them on AM, on FM, on the website, on the app. And you'll hear Dave Rivera host the most comprehensive post-game show around. Final thoughts, Mr. Mike Rush, you have anything for us for tonight from Elyria?
No, just a really good SWC game there for a while. Elyria, hold their head up high. They're playing hard for Coach Fox. And North Ridgeville, the culture change that's been taking place under Coach Morgan. It's fun to watch, and it'll be fun to follow the rest of their season this year. And
we will be doing that as Week 10 will be live from North Ridgeville on the Lorain County Sports Network. So thanks to all of you for watching, listening, and keeping abreast of what's happening in Lorain County Friday Night Lights. And, of course, great thanks to all of our sponsors. And I mentioned Sports Director Don Vincent, Gary and Renee Tollett, owners of the WOBL and WDLW franchises that created this Lorain County Sports Network. On site here today, that was not only Mike Rush alongside me, but Edwin Verena is our jack-of-all-trades, director, producer, on-site engineer, and Andrew Bowen was behind the camera. Appreciate all you guys' hard work and look forward to hopefully the same forecast for next Friday night as we'll be in Oberlin, as we have had 6 great Friday nights for Friday Night Football. It makes it even more exciting to be out here and be with you here. Have a great night, everybody.